can get you 100, 200, even 500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it, consolidated all their high interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier, get your life back. Interest rates are at a 3-year low. Call Loan Pronto, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Did you know that you can file your taxes securely and safely online from home? And that there are several free filing options. To learn more about these free filing options and to see if you qualify for one of them, go to ncdor.gov. If you qualify and file online, you'll get a confirmation when your return is submitted. Sponsored by the North Carolina Department of Revenue and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy this afternoon, a couple sprinkles here, an isolated shower there. A high of 72. It's a warm night tonight, an overnight low of 59 degrees under cloudy skies. And then tomorrow, we'll have a front approach, and that'll bring us a chance of a shower, but the rain really still looks light. It'll be a warm one, though, with a high of 76, which would break our previous record high.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 393 points to 49,268.
Dishes left wing. McNeil wants the answer. Rise and fire. Drills it. Wilson lobs a pass up top to Vasar. Extra pass to Dixon. 3-pointers good.
12 to shoot. Back for Evans on the right. Good again.
Now Quinn Hughes. We played 3.5 minutes in overtime. Quinn Hughes shoots. He scores. He scores. Quinn Hughes in overtime wins it. And the United States will move on and face Slovakia in the semis.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'll tell you what, we left you yesterday, and it was a little high intensity due to the men's hockey game in the Olympics. Well, today it's high intensity for the women's Team USA hockey game in the Olympics. And we're going to do our best to keep you updated and will the United States to victory in a gold medal match against Canada. We'll also get you ready for some ACC basketball. There's a monster on Saturday for Duke. NC State, there's so much to get to. So without further ado, without making you wait any longer than you have to, I'm Tim Donnelly, that's Dennis Cox producing, and this is time for the Big 3 at 3. Number 1. USA women's hockey is currently, as we speak, in the gold medal game against Canada. And Canada leads 1-0 with about 15 minutes to go in the game. It is the third period where we pick up the action. U.S. beat this team earlier in the tournament 5-0. They beat Canada 5-0. different game today. Not only does the United States need to find an equalizer, but they need to calm down a little bit, maybe would be a way to describe it.
I feel like they've settled. Late second period, they definitely started turning things back the way you expect them to play.
Now, just like yesterday, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, right? You talk about it honestly, even though it's clear we're all rooting for the United States, and we will handle it the same way if the United States scores. The concern might be that this team has, at least at these Olympics, absolutely no experience in close games. They've won them all going away, even against Canada, right? But by this point, by 14 minutes to go in the third, they're supposed to be like laughing and giggling and out there trying trick shots. Like they're up by 4 goals at this point in darn near every other game that they've played at the Olympics. So to now suddenly be in a situation where not only are you in a back and forth game, you're actually trailing and all of the pressure is on you is a different beast for them as they are like this team, right? Obviously they all, play college hockey or in their own professional leagues dealing with close games. But this group with the team DNA of all of themselves intertwined are going to have to find something out about themselves in the next 15 minutes of game time. They're going to have to find out if they not only like punched in the face, but if they can maybe get knocked down, dust themselves off, get back up again and go win a gold medal. Obviously, we hope they can, and we'll keep you updated. Again, United States women's hockey up against Canada. This is the matchup everybody wants. This is the matchup everybody was hoping for in the gold medal game, and it is the matchup that everybody has received. But now it's to the point where the U.S. needs to score, get it tied up, get the dub. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, anything you'd like to add about the United States women as they need one?
They just need one. Just get one.
One skate in front of the other?
Just one. Just one. Just go get one. Don't worry about trying to get 2. Just get one right now. That's it.
I mean, there are, if you shoot from beyond midcourt or center ice, I should say, those are worth 6, right? No, you got to do it one at a time.
If only.
That would be hilarious, right? You're down 5, shoot from the other blue line, let it fly. Would be kind of fun. Big 3 at 3, that is number 1, and again, that will become number 2 and number 3 if enough exciting stuff happens that we need to interrupt. But that is number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
NC State men's basketball back in the top 4 of the ACC. They had lost 2 straight games going into the Carolina game, and we had started. Actually, it was the Miami game that they lost kind of right at the end by 1. Going into that game was the first time the table had kind of been set, right? These 2 teams are the 4th and 5th in the conference, and it seemed like whoever would win that game would really have a leg up, and perhaps the team that lost would be in trouble, right? And that top 4 is important because that is the double bye in the ACC tournament. That's the group that kind of gets the skip ahead, shoots and ladders little move there. And then they lost against Miami. And then it's going into the Carolina game, and it's very similar. It's if you lose this, you're out. You're not even in the running for the top 4. Well, they won that game, and then they get a little help last night from Wake Forest beating Clemson, and on their off day, they end up jumping in to the 4th spot. And it was a reminder for me, looking at NC State, that, and I think part of it is the way their coach kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. We're talking about Will Wade. They ride the roller coaster, man. State, when they lose a game, I don't know if it's the fan base. Maybe, again, it could be the way the coach reacts because the coach does we're so used to coach speak from head coaches in college basketball right after losses. Well, we're going to do better, and we're going to get back, and the process doesn't change. And after wins, well, there's things we can improve on, and we're going to watch, and the process doesn't change. Will Wade's not that way, right? When they play bad, he's like, goodness, are we a playoff team? Postseason? No, God, we lost to Georgia Tech. Right? The highs and the lows are there. This State team is very much like, well, actually, it's not that bad. Or actually, they still have all their goals on the table. And to ride the roller coaster in the way they have and still be sitting there 4th in the ACC, which by all measures is an incredible bounce back from last year, right? By all measures, Will Wade in his first year has boosted this team from a team that didn't make the ACC tournament last year to a team that if the season ended right now, which is towards the end of the conference schedule, they would have a double bye. Again, if Will Wade didn't promise this, we'd be the ones, meaning the media, those that cover the Atlantic Coast Conference, would be the ones going around, touting the achievement of being where they are at the moment. But because Will Wade in his introductory press conference said, this isn't a rebuild. We're going to win now. We're going to be top 4. We're going to be this. We're going to make the NCAA tournament. We're going to be one of the top teams in the ACC. It's almost like, they're just barely in position to make good on that promise. And that's the vibe, rather than how in the heck did they improve this much based on last year? And oh my goodness, the guys they brought in out of the transfer portal and everything else that comes along with it. So I guess what I'm saying is it reminds me, usually reality is somewhere between the overreactions. It's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems. It's probably somewhere in the middle. And State they're 4th in the Atlantic Coast Conference right now. Maybe it wasn't as bad as everyone was saying, or maybe it wasn't as good as everyone was saying, but the reality is they're 4th. And again, they should probably hat tip or send a thank you note or something over to Wake Forest, because Wake Forest beating Clemson is what nudged them into that spot. That is number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
In addition to, and I'll update you here once again, we are now under 11 minutes to play in the third period. Gold medal game between the United States women's hockey team and Canada. Score still 1 for Canada, 0 for USA. So we're getting to it's not panic time, right? Not at all, but it'd be nice if you got one soon. We'll keep you updated on that. Other stories from the Olympics. Dennis, I have to continue. I have to pass along the Jordan Stolz myth and legend. So,
yes, our speed skater.
1,500 meter, which was supposed to be, and I say supposed to like it was ordained, supposed to be the 3rd out of 4 gold medals for Jordan Stolz. He won the 1,000 meter speed skating Olympic record, won the 500 meter Olympic record, silver in the 1,500 meter. He still has the mass start to come, but he's not going to put together the 4 golds that everybody was talking about. But do you know what is the most brutal thing for Jordan Stolz? Silver, great, right? I mean, let's be real. You're second best in the world at, I guess, the thing you do third best. That's pretty good, right? Because he has 2 gold medals and now a silver. So the thing that he does third best in his resume, at least, he is the second best in the world. So that's pretty good. But the crazier part is 4th place broke the Olympic record. 4th place in the 1,500 meter men's speed skating broke the Olympic record and didn't even get a medal, which means Jordan Stolz set not only the Olympic record, but beat 2 others that also broke the Olympic record and still finished in 2nd.
That's brutal.
I only imagine that, like, in his training and stuff, the times he was shooting for and aiming for probably were achieved by him, right? He probably said, if I break the Olympic record by a good amount, there's a good chance I'm going to have a gold medal, so that's what I'm going to train and aim for. And then he got what he was aiming for, and somebody from China broke it by more. Still a star. I'm still a huge Jordan Stolz fan. 2-time gold medalist this year. Now a silver medalist, still with 1 more chance. Let's go 3 for 4, Jordan. Let's go 3 for 4 with the gold, 4 for 4 on the podium. Dennis, for the rest of this women's hockey game, you're going to continue to be our correspondent here.
Locked in here. 9:15 left to play.
All right, there you go. I also want to give a shout out to Michaela Schifrin, who we didn't truly acknowledge yesterday as much as we should. She won gold in the slalom yesterday. That's down alpine skiing. Her first medal since winning a silver back in 2018. That was the Pyeongchang Olympics. She went 0 for 8, had some did not finishes. She's a legend. This is kind of the bookends on her career. But she becomes, one of two of probably the most decorated skiers, especially in her event in United States history, one of the most decorated of all time. But I give so much respect to the resiliency. Right, she won it for the first time when she was, I think, 17 or 18 back 12 years ago. She won this exact event. The slalom, got the gold. Went to 2 Olympics, came up empty in the event. Now goes to another one, wins the gold again. Bananas. And last shout out I want to give here: Gus Schumacher and Ben Ogden. We're talking. They stole a medal, and I don't say steal like anything nefarious. I just mean Norway wins everything in cross-country skiing. It's become a passion project of mine to knock Norway off. And Gus Schumacher and Ben Ogden have earned Team USA's first ever Olympic medal in the men's team sprint event of cross-country skiing.
Let's go.
It's a silver, but that's what we get a lot of at this year's Olympics. But it's not Norway, and that's what's most important, because they're racking up on all these odd events and just getting 1 billion medals, and then they're, look, we're winning the total medal count. It's like, you're just good at like 3 things, and we give 700 medals at those 3 things. Apparently Germany's a wagon at the bobsled. How does that happen? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I love getting worked up about sports that I know absolutely nothing about. I consider myself an expert in some, definitely not cross-country skiing. But I'll tell you what, if they sell jerseys, I want a Schumacher and Ogden skiing cross-country jersey. Bib? They probably just have the bib with a little name and number on it. Who knows? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3. We'll keep you updated on the women's hockey game, and we'll get you set for an unusual experience for Duke basketball this year. This Saturday, they take on the number 1 team in the country in Michigan, and they're underdogs. How do they react? Stick around.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
It is Heart Health Month, and I am here with Bethany Usowitz from WakeMed Cardiac Rehab, exercise physiologist. Bethany, let's start with the who's. Who needs cardiac rehab, and how quickly should they begin after a cardiac event?
Heart disease is the number 1 killer in America. So I'd like to say everyone, but it's mostly folks who have gone through a cardiac event like a heart attack, or people who had heart surgery. It could be a valve, it could be angioplasty or a stent placed, really to help prevent heart disease from progressing.
Now, when you say everyone, is this something you should look into even before a cardiac event?
Good question. There's not a ton of research around what you may call prehab, so like preventative in these items, but that's just anyone can exercise and learn to do these things. Rehab is really post-surgery, and that's where the research lies. And it helps those patients prevent another event or another surgery.
To learn more about WakeMed Cardiac Rehab, visit wakemed.org.
Breaking news. Multiply the Cash scratch-offs are here and have $1 billion in total prizes. Mike's live on the scene.
The word is out, and with so much cash up for grabs, everyone's getting in on this $1 billion. Grandma?
Out of my way, Mikey. Granny's on a roll.
You heard it here first, folks. Get in on $1 billion of wins with new Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.01 to 4.82. Problem gambling helpline, 877-718-5543.
Waits, a handoff for Isaiah Evans. He's on the drop, into the paint, kick it to the right. 12 to shoot, back for Evans on the right. Good again! Isaiah, another 3, he's got 18.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 7.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Team USA and Team Canada, gold medal matchup of women's hockey out there in Italy. Canada leads 1-0. I'm getting nervous, but there's nothing to. Luckily, I can get nervous because I don't have to be out there staying calm. USA just has to stay calm. Everybody relax.
Got to keep your composure.
Exactly. And, let your talent shine. They're pretty darn good. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Right now, I need you to realize that this doesn't happen very often for a team like this year. I'm not saying like Duke. Duke's an underdog a good amount of time. But for a team like this year's Duke squad, specifically, this doesn't happen that often. Duke this weekend, Saturday, I believe it's Saturday. Yes, Saturday, 6:30 in D.C. is an underdog against Michigan. Duke is 24-2. Their 2 losses are very, very close losses to good teams. They are statistically dominant, and they're becoming bigger underdogs than they were even yesterday. The line opened with Michigan as a 2.5-point favorite. They are now a 3.5-point favorite over Duke. So this is, and I can't emphasize this enough, I think exactly what the doctor ordered for Duke. And I don't think they need to be humbled and, you're not the favorite. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are not a ton of opportunities for a team like Duke to gain this type of experience when they are closer to fully formed. All right, there's this stat going around. There's this stat going around right now that is supposed to emphasize what we've always known, which is experience matters in March. Okay? The average college basketball team returned 23.7% of their minutes from last year. So this season, 23.7% of the minutes that played, meaning players that played those minutes last year, returned to the same team this year. That's on average across college basketball. However, the top 10 in KenPom, which is a metric that's supposed to measure the best teams, the top 10 in KenPom all returned more than that. So they're all above average in how many minutes they returned from last year. And that top 10 averages 39.4% returned. Okay, so look at this. Experience matters when putting together a good basketball team, right? Stability matters. Chemistry matters. Yes, there's nothing new here, right? I'm not the first person to say, you need veteran guards in March. That's all known. But what I thought was interesting is if you look at that top 10, Duke has the fewest returning minutes, right? So some teams, Purdue, returned over 61% of their minutes from last year. Duke, just barely above that average for everyone in the entire country, 24.4%. They are 170th in returning minutes. Michigan, who they're playing, 31.5%, right? So there's big differences here. Houston, 43.5%. Florida, over 40%. And, right, there's always the and, there's always the but, there's always the however. And they didn't hit the transfer portal a bunch, which I consider almost stealing someone else's experience, right? You go, great, you grab 3 years of experience playing for them. I want you to take everything you've learned over there and bring it over and help us, right? Duke didn't do that.
Yeah, Duke doesn't play a transfer in their rotation.
I mean, not this year's.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Like Malik Brown, but they didn't bring one in. They didn't steal it from somewhere else, which would increase the numbers of the rest of the top 10 a bunch anyway, right? Michigan brought in transfers. Arizona brought in, they brought in transfers.
Yeah, Michigan has former 2-year starter from Carolina and Elliot Cadeau.
Exactly. So they took that experience, which would boost their percentage even higher. Duke wouldn't be boosted any higher by transfers. So Duke is an underdog, but I think more importantly, if you look at KenPom, and I promise you that I'm going to land this plane. If you look at KenPom and you say the top 10 are the most likely contenders to win it all, Duke is easily the least experienced team in the group of top contenders. Easily. They need games like Saturday more than anyone else in the top 10. They need games that feel big. They need games that are against unusual opponents. They need games that simulate Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16 intensity, and quality of opponent more than anyone else in the top group. They're underdogs. Yeah, they might be underdogs in the Final Four, depending on if they make the Final Four, and depending on how they play on their way to the Final Four, and how their opponent had played on their way to the Final Four, and injuries, and foul trouble, and whatever else happens. They might be in this situation. And while every other team is more likely to have somebody that had been through it before, right? To have some point guard that was on their team last year when they were an underdog in the round of 32, or to have Elliot Cadeau, who was in some situation similar at UNC playing for Michigan, or whoever. Duke is less likely to have that. So they better get their experience against Michigan on Saturday. Right? They better get a scouting report and have to digest it and go through it on a couple walkthroughs and take it out there and play one of the best teams in the country on Saturday. And if they don't do a great job of it, they better be able to then retroactively look at what did we do wrong, what could we do better, how can we make sure that doesn't happen again.
And here's the thing for Duke is that the guys that did return from last year were all guys that were coming off the bench. Gongba off the bench, Brown coming off the bench, Evans coming off the bench, Caleb Foster coming off the bench, and at times didn't even play in a stretch of games for last year just because of how good that team was. So they got their experience a little bit going to the Final Four last year, but for Cam Boozer, for Dame Sarr, Nick Hamenya, this is a first. This is a first for them.
Absolutely. And, right, I just keep throwing ands out there. This is the longest run-on sentence in the history of the world. And don't let a couple of moments for those guys make you think they were around for the whole season, right? Early in the year last year, Isaiah Evans was not in the rotation, right? He was getting on the Dean's list on this show a whole bunch because he was getting 6 minutes at the end of blowouts and was going in there and playing well. And I like the get ready or stay ready so you don't have to get ready nature of that. Gongba was hurt early in the year, so don't just remember like, oh, Con Knippel threw Gongba a bunch of alley-oops in the ACC tournament. That guy's played a ton. He played some big minutes in big games, but he did not play a good chunk of the season until guys started getting hurt. And then even if it's something like this, Malik Brown, veteran, played at Syracuse, right? Transferred, was hurt a bit last year, but did play some good minutes. He had Sion James. He had Tyrese Proctor playing those roles of their veterans. He hadn't done it yet this year. So there's different things going on there. State fans and Carolina fans are going to hate what I'm going to say to round out this segment. But I want it on record beforehand, so at least if I say it after the game, I can say this is not 20/20 hindsight. This is not me changing history in the rearview mirror. If Duke loses, I truly think that might be a good thing for them. Depending on how it goes, I reserve the right to say, no, that was a bad loss if they, fumble it a bunch of different ways. But if it's a hard-fought game and they learn something about themselves, like that's why they scheduled it. They didn't schedule this game to beat Michigan by 10. They'll do it if they can, right, because they're competitors. But they scheduled this game to learn the last things they need to polish up before they get to the true, hey, if we lose, this season's over portion of the schedule. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Miller Lending wants you to know that timing is everything, and you also can't always choose timing, right? It's a little bit of an oxymoron there, rocking a hard place. Yeah, if we could all time getting a mortgage as we saw perfect, right? Like, oh, look, rates are low. Let me get my mortgage. That would be great. I wish we could all do that. However, sometimes rates are a little higher than you want or a lot higher than you want, and you need a new house. Or you finally saved up the money for the down payment and you can afford it, or you need to move for your job or for family reasons or to upsize, downsize, whatever it is. And when that happens, you really need to call Miller Lending, because Miller Lending can offer something called a no-cost loan, which you don't have to cut the big fat check for closing costs, right? No closing costs, no hidden surcharges, no hidden fees, none of that. No renaming it something else, and then taking it out of your pocket anyway. And also, if rates do drop in the future, you're not angry because, I paid and I don't want to refinance because I paid all that money last time or I bought the rate down. No, you just get a no closing cost loan again on the refi and do that as many times as you need to. So give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377 for Miller Lending, or visit them online, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. Just over 2 minutes to play in the gold medal match, women's hockey, USA-Canada. Canada leads 1-0 over the United States. They've pulled the goalie, has the U.S., and we'll have more to update you on after this. Stick around with what could be the final. Never mind! USA! 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 We're not going anywhere! Tied it up, 2 minutes and 4 seconds left!
Let's go! Yeah, the captain, baby!
The captain!
Let's go!
Oh, captain, my captain, you tied it up with 2:04 left. gosh, that feels good. I'm going to go full Kobe Bryant right here, right now. Job finished? Job not finished. Job finished to you? I don't think so. We need one more.
What a deflection. That front press, let's go!
1-1. The Canada goal came a blink into the second period. It had been the entire second period and 18 minutes essentially of the third period of a 1-0 lead for Canada, and the United States just tied it up, and it's a completely different ball game.
Let's go.
Canada, U.S. 1-1. Women's hockey gold medal match, a minute 45 left. We do have to take that commercial break, so we will be back potentially with a final. We might be playing extra hockey. Stick around. We'll update you immediately after this.
Dave Matthews Band is coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh. Friday, June 5th. On sale Friday at livenation.com. Don't miss Dave Matthews Band Live. Presented by Live Nation.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9. Restrictions apply.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUICK to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
As here's Dame Sarr in the front court. Kicks it back up top. Evans again. Got it again. Oh, he's on a heater. His fourth three. He's got 12. And the lead grows to 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, we're getting extra hockey. With a gold medal on the line this time. As bad intense as it gets.
As good as it gets. Let's go.
United States women's hockey team heading to overtime. I imagine so, but I don't want to speak out of turn here. Same overtime rules as the men, which would mean with a gold medal on the line, you play till someone scores.
Yep.
There's no shootout. There's 10-minute 10-minute overtime periods for as long as nobody scores. And as soon as somebody does, that team celebrates and starts putting gold medals on their neck. United States, Canada, gold medal matchup, women's hockey, going on as we speak. The United States with the goalie pulled.
So, yeah, gold medal game, settled 20-minute 3-on-3 sudden death periods, no shootouts. So it's a full 20-minute period, but again, whomever scores first wins. But it's 3-on-3.
True. The United States was down 1-0 for essentially 2/3 of the game. Mm-hmm. The goal for Canada came shorthanded right after the first intermission, so it was right at the beginning of the second period. You went the entire second period. There were good looks along the way. The United States had good opportunities, high leverage chances, whatever you want to call it. Puck stayed out of the net. It was 1-0 until there was about 2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Hillary Knight, the captain, gets a deflection for Team USA, scores the goal, ties it up 1-1. There were just a few moments of in those last 2 minutes. None of them turned out to be the game winner. So now you go to overtime, and it is – I mean, this is what dreams are made of, right? I imagine – I didn't grow up a hockey player. I didn't grow up with pond hockey in my backyard. I imagine this is the situation you say out loud to yourself when you don't have – like none of your friends can come out to play. You're just going like, gold medal on the line. Triple deke, right? That's what I mean. If you watch Mighty Ducks, it was always a triple deke. But 3, 2, go medal. Like this is what you're imagining. They all get the opportunity. Somebody will be an American hero or a Canadian hero in the next however many minutes, and we will keep you updated here on 99.9 The Fan. And the way you'll know if it's a good goal is we'll go nuts, go crazy, and be yelling and screaming. And the way you'll know if it's the other way is we'll be mad and doing our best not to use words that we're not allowed to use on radio. That's how you're going to know. If you know us, you'll pick it up quick. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. In the meantime, and they are they're taking a break, obviously, between the third and overtime. Little commercial action. So in that time, let's go ahead and jump to the Dean's List. First name on the Dean's List, or first group on the Dean's List for today, Wake Forest men's basketball. 3-game win streak now. They beat Clemson last night, which is the cruelest of quad 2 victories because they were 31. I think they're in late 30s now. Give Wake Forest like a lot of knowing nods of respect. Their season could have been one to bail on. They were losing a lot of close games. They were losing a lot of games that I think they probably in their heart of hearts knew they were the better team, and they just weren't getting the breaks. To use a hockey term, they weren't getting the puck luck. They were shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. And it could have been everybody 1 foot out of the boat, 1 foot in the boat kind of season. They've stayed 10 toes down and won the last 3. And, it's still not NCAA tournament bubble or anything like that, but I just give them respect as competitors for, putting together a 3-game win streak and perhaps fixing some things that were a little leaky, and who knows what they could do in the ACC tournament, right? We've seen teams go from 11th seed in the ACC tournament and well outside of the NCAA tournament projections to the Final Four. We've seen that in the last 3 years. That's what NC State did. So perhaps Wake is building off that, but I give them a lot of credit. Shout out to the Dean's List. Or shout out to Wake Forest on the Dean's List. More Dean's List. Mack Brown. Mack Brown, former, couple of times, former Carolina football coach. He's kind of aging well, isn't he? Like all the people that used to complain about Mack just seem to have come around and be all about him again. UNC Athletics tweeted out at Go Heels, a pair of very special guests return to Chapel Hill on Monday. Looking forward to welcoming back UNC football's Hall of Fame coach Mack Brown and his wife Sally at UNC basketball's game against Louisville.
Oh, look at that. Not that long after they let him go.
That's my thing. This guy has turned PR quick. His approval rating is now completely different than when he left. And I'm happy for him. I mean, granted, part of it I'm sure is just he's a charmer, but every interaction I've had with Mack, I always left going that's a good guy. That's a good dude.
I love Mac. Mac really is a good guy.
Probably why he was such a good recruiter. But I'm just happy that UNC continues to embrace him, even though it could have been really awkward. So he's going to be at the basketball game on Monday. Make sure you give him applause when they show him on the Jumbotron. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you'd like to throw out here?
I do not.
All right, then how about this? A little Cooper Flag hype on the Dean's List. The jersey that he wore, Cooper Flag, in his NBA
I did see this.
debut for just the first half, because I guess now they realize how much money's involved in these jerseys, so they're like, put this on, take this off. All right, go check in. All right, take it off, put on a new jersey. All right, go check in. Oh, look at all these game-worn jerseys we can auction off. He wore it for just the first half of his debut game as a rookie. Was sold privately by Sotheby's at auction. I want to put my pinky to the side of my mouth like Dr. Evil here. For $1 million. It's a record for any Cooper Flag collectible and a record for a jersey sold through NBA auctions. $1 million for Cooper Flag's debut jersey. You know actually who should be on the Dean's List? Like Cooper Flag's friends. Because if they ever get hard up for money, they could just be like, hey, remember that hoodie that Cooper Flag left at my house when he was over the other day? It's got to be worth like 10 grand, right? Let's put it on eBay. You shouldn't do that if you're friends of a famous person. But hey, if times get tough, gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Last Dean's Lister here, and this is backhanded. Not NCAA President Charlie Baker.
Yeah. If there's someone that gets detention, Charlie Baker gets detention.
Couple
Let's
extra
go.
demerits, some marks on the permanent record. He spoke to the media today, said a whole bunch of things. I'm not going to dive into all of it, but what I will say is, when asked about NCAA tournament, meaning basketball tournament expansion, he said, we're still talking about it, and he added, I would like to see it expand. Boo! Why is this so hard for people to grasp? There are very, 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 very few perfect things in sports. The NCAA tournament is one of them. Stop messing with it. Stop. You know what they need? They need my 6th grade art teacher at Les Jardins out in Hawaii. My 6th grade art teacher, do you know what she did? She had a rule. The rule was when she tapped you on the shoulder twice, you were not allowed to touch your art project anymore, because she had seen too many 6th graders get a really good look and they couldn't stop, right? Oh, let me one more. Oh, one more paint. And then it all ended up looking like a mud egg, right? Like the Easter egg that you dipped in all the colors, because you just couldn't stop. Like, it looked great, but let me fix this. Let me fix this. And then it was all done. We need the 6th grade art teacher to tap the NCAA on the shoulder and go, basketball tournaments are perfect. Let it dry. Take it home. Show your parents. It's done. It's over. It's perfect. Stop trying to fix it.
You're just risking watering down your product. And guess what? Now the games mean less.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know how many they're gonna add, but if you like the team that is one out and thinks they should be the 12th, 15th, 24th seed, they're going to be just as mad as the teams that miss out now. The snubs are the snubs, regardless of how many. You're not making everybody happy every year. If you're not happy, or if you're upset when you're the 70th best team in the country because you thought you were the 67th, you're not going to be like, oh, it's okay, I'm the 97th instead of the 96th, or whatever the heck you get into the next round of the tournament. Let it go. That's the Dean's List. Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. I do feel like I get a little extra worked up when there's like overtime hockey going on. Just everybody's a little intense. So what might be a 6 on the scale becomes like a 12 just because, everybody's a little tight. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, United States women's hockey and Canada women's hockey in the gold medal game are headed to overtime. 1-1. United States tied it up late, and they are headed to overtime. We'll keep you updated. But before we can do any of that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here, real quick, for my good friends over at Law Tigers. I'm sure everyone out there that at least here in the Triangle is enjoying the warm weather that we have. I mean, it might be a little bit of a false spring. I understand that, but spring is right around the corner, and I can't wait to get back out on the motorcycle. And I want you to join me out there on the roads. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com because the Law Tigers, they're once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. The date to enter by, it's March 29th, which actually really isn't that far away when you think about it. March 29th is the date to enter, but don't wait. Enter now. Go to caniacsbike.com. Bike will be given away live on the ice April 4th at the game, and it includes tickets to a catered suite. Pretty awesome. Win a motorcycle and tickets to a catered suite. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win. You'll see pictures of that beautiful Ducati motorcycle that is custom painted. It is absolutely gorgeous. I've seen it in person. I can't have the bike, but you can. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back. We're talking hockey either way. Either we're going to be diving into the gold medal matchup for the United States, or we're going to look at the Canes, who have started practicing again, getting ready for their return after the Olympic break. That and more next.
Coach, I need a concierge service. Do you handle that?
Oh, yeah. We have a private wealth division for $10 million and up, too. But what I spend my time most of the time on our second floor, which is for anyone who wants to get started with a plan, has a plan they're not sure of, had a plan with an advisor they don't really trust anymore, or losing money, whatever.
Yeah.
Or getting close to retirement and realizing your plan never put together for you a retirement plan. If you look at all your statements and you don't see here's what your monthly income will be in retirement forever, in other words, can't go away, you don't have a true retirement plan. And most of you listening don't. If you have a 401k, you don't have a retirement plan. You have a building instrument that's building money up for retirement, but it's not a retirement plan. We can take that 401k and turn it into a true retirement plan. We're going to do that for the next 15 of that no cost or obligation. We'll at least show you in writing what it can look like. It's up to you to decide if you want to act on it. So call right now. You also get 3 of the books I've written when you come in.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
You've got rhythm. Your heart's got rhythm. Then one day your rhythm's off, and you've got AFib, atrial fibrillation. The good news is you've also got an AFib center, where specialists in AFib have multiple treatment options for you. Want more good news? Most of them are minimally invasive. Learn more at wakemed.org. And what do you say you and your heart get the band back together?
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Sent back into the zone. Gavrikov can't clear. Kane's making a play, coming in, shot. He scores! Andrei Svechnikov! My goodness, that's the magic!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Overtime just getting started in the Winter Games final. USA women's hockey, Canada women's hockey. And as they get started, I'm going to do my best not to get distracted watching this game the entire time. It's time for the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy. In the total medal count as it stands right now, Norway is leading the way with 34 total medals. Italy is in second with 26, but we're on their tails. 25 is what the United States has. We are one behind Italy, and you can expect us to get at least a medal in this women's hockey. So if you count your chickens as they're about to hatch, you could say we're tied with Italy with 26, but officially 34 for Norway, 26 for Italy, 25 for United States. And if you're just counting gold medals, it is 16 for Norway. They are still out front. Italy has 9. They are in second, the host country. And the United States, 7. And then with 6 kind of right on our tails, France, Netherlands, Sweden, and Switzerland all have 6 gold medals. That is the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy. All right, so as we're talking a lot of hockey here, I had a hockey thought earlier today. The Canes are practicing, right? They've practiced over the last couple of days. They're practicing again today. Obviously not Jacob Slavin, Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis. They're all still out there playing with their countries in Italy.
Yeah, I still think that Freddie and Ehlers are still on their way back, or obviously give them a little bit of a rest.
Everybody else had the rest, right?
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of talking. The Brandon Bussey contract spurred this. Some of the more optimistic thoughts have spurred this of, like, who do we want to continue with the same energy after the break, right? Who do you want to hope that the Olympic break didn't throw them off rhythm or break up their momentum? And Svetch is mentioned, and Bussey is mentioned, and some of these guys. Well, I was thinking this. If you heard a report, right, they've had a couple of practices now, and if somebody, the report simply said something like, a player blank looks like a new, fresh version of themselves. They look reinvigorated. Completely different than we saw them right before they went to the Olympic break. Now that they're back in town. What name would make you the most excited? What name would you be most excited to hear? Now, I can hear like the particular fan segment out there that is screaming, Stankoven. And I know, right? He had that little 4 goals in 4 game streak, and then he hasn't scored since. And that was, early to mid-January. I think he's grinding. I think he's doing his best. I think he's a little out of position. That's not my pick. I have 3 names, actually. So I cheated. I think Nikolai Ehlers. Ehlers had a hat trick versus the Panthers, that 9-1 game that was so exciting, versus the Florida Panthers, obviously. Again, mid-January, right? This was over a month ago now. Hasn't scored a goal since. 9 scoreless, meaning goalless, not pointless, but goalless games for Ehlers. He's been skating with the stall line, which is obviously part of the story, but he was buzzing a lot for the Olympic run that he had. And I think if he comes back kind of reinvigorated by the opportunity to put his country's jersey on, I think I would be very excited to hear that. And I want him to be a little bit more selfish. Sometimes, playing for your country and, recognizing you're maybe like the dude there is good for you, right? Go play and be the main character. I also have Taylor Hall on the list. And this one's a bit more straight down the middle, easy to understand. Old guys need rest, right? He's 34 years old. He's had some injuries. Obviously, he might not be as spry as he once was, 34 years old, which always, I think he's younger than I am, which makes me go like, do I really want to just talk about how ancient this guy is?
He's 34.
He's 34? Yeah, he's younger than me. Gosh darn it. But he's been skating with the second line. Like, he's been taking on bigger roles. I think the time off is good for him just to literal recharge, right? Like, not mental resets or anything, just body rest is what he needs. And then my third, Jalen Chatfield. And this one's similar but a little different. He's still good. I'm still a big fan. I'm a chatty guy. By the way, Jalen Chatfield will be. Have we announced this yet? Can I?
Oh, yeah, we can announce this.
He is the next guest for Kane's Corner coming up. This is Monday?
Yep, Monday. Let's go.
On Monday, Jalen Chatfield interviewed by Mike Maniscalco for an hour at 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can hear it on the 99.9 The Fan app. You could also head out to the local and see it in person. That's Monday. Jalen Chatfield will be the next Kane's Corner guest. He'll be following their last guest, and the last edition of Kane's Corner was Brandon Bussey, so, tough act to follow, but Jalen Chatfield will be out there. I'm still a big Jalen Chatfield fan. Like I said, I'm a chatty guy. I think, and this is just observation, I think he's been playing through something for the first 2/3, and he missed a little bit of time before the season, missed a little bit of time in season, obviously had I think it was in concussion protocol. I think he's been battling through something, and if he comes back and is flying around a bit more or looking 100% a bit more, and again, just vibes. I'm just observing. I think that could be a really, really big boost to his last third of the season / into the postseason. So I hope, he spent his Olympic break in like a cryogenic chamber or something, just a lot of cold plunges and all that kind of stuff, just whatever it took to get him back to 100%. Dennis, how would you answer that question?
Well, since you went 3, I'll go 3.
All right, let's hear it.
So, first one, actually, similar to your Jalen Chatfield, I'm thinking actually Keandre Miller. Because Keandre Miller early in the season was kind of in and out of the lineup, just some nagging lower body stuff. So, and I think that allows him the time just to kind of rest up, heal up, and he was actually playing quite well before the break. So I think Keandre Miller will be even better when he comes back. So I think just that little bit of time off again, just allowing your body just to rest up a little bit. Same thing, the second name I'm going to throw out there is Shane Gostisbehere. Because Shane Gostisbehere, again, missing chunks of time because of lingering lower body stuff. Just allow him just a little bit of time to rest and just be stronger for the stretch run.
Gostisbehere is probably on both lists.
Yeah.
He's on the, I hope he keeps his momentum because he's like a point per game, but also I hope he rested up and is fresh and rejuvenated coming back.
So he can keep doing the point per game.
He's on both lists.
Yes, 100%. And the third one I was going to go with is Jackson Blake. I considered him. Jackson Blake, I thought, wasn't necessarily struggling, but just things just weren't going completely his way in terms of the production department. Not that he and Stankoven and Taylor Hall weren't generating chances, but it's just that nothing was going for him. So maybe just a little bit of time off, a little bit of a mental break won't be a bad thing for him.
Jackson Blake, for me, the thing that I don't think it needs to be fresh because, I almost refuse to put 22-year-olds on this list. I'm like, you don't get tired. Nobody gets tired when they're 22. You play a game, you drink a Gatorade, you go play another. But the thing that I don't want to say was frustrating, I want him hunting goals, and there were some times where he would stick handle, he'd make a move, he'd do something, and then it just didn't. If he felt a tiny bit too reluctant to take the shot towards the end of the run up to the Olympic break. So I don't need him rejuvenated. I just need him to shoot that. And then Keandre Miller, he's an interesting one. Keandre Miller feels like a guy who was doing a lot right and just wasn't getting the production for it or wasn't getting let's go!
America!
Gold medal time!
Let's go!
Talk about doing everything right!
Tarps are coming off, baby!
Oh, goodness!
Tarps are coming off, baby! Let's go! Tarps are off!
Undefeated!
Let's go! Yes! Let's go!
How you like me now, Canada?
Let's go!
In case you can't tell, the United States women's hockey team just won the gold medal in overtime over Canada to complete a perfect run through the Olympics. Oh, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat for Canada. I didn't see who scored it. I saw the excitement on Dennis's face. I looked up at the TV and I saw it trickle over the line into the net. Who's the American hero that scored it?
I missed the name, number 8.
Number 8.
What a
so
win.
Great.
Just put a move on her defender, one-on-one. Trickles it through. Let's go.
That's a gold.
Let's go.
That's a gold medal. I can't imagine a better feeling than what they are feeling right now in Italy, celebrating with their teammates, knowing that they just won gold medal, a gold medal for the United States of America.
I took my shirt off. That's what I meant by tarps off.
If anyone was watching on YouTube, you got celebration and a show.
Oh, that's gonna get clipped. Don't worry.
Dennis went all out. I appreciate it. And actually, we have a men's game that's going to be going on during the show tomorrow as the United States men attempt to match what the women just did and continue their trek through the Olympics.
Look at this move. Look at that. Oh, excuse me.
Goodness.
Oh, that was Keller.
Backhanded.
Is that Keller that scored? It was.
I believe it was. Yes,
it was Keller. What a move.
Alternate captain.
What a move.
For those of you that haven't been paying attention to the women's hockey game, gold medal match all night, it's night in Italy. The United States was down 1-0 with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in this game. Hillary Knight scored on a deflection with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to tie the game.
Don't you know, pump it up.
They pushed it to overtime.
Don't you know, pump it up.
And the United States just ended it. Game-winning goal. Elation from that point forward. Let's go, USA. 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 Oh, man. Oh, I love it. They're showing the Canadian fans just head shakes. Drink your tears. Sad cobras, if you know what that means. Let's go. All right, we're going to celebrate some more. We're just going to scream our heads off, so you might still hear us. But on 99.9 The Fan, we're going to play a quick commercial when we come back. Football at 4 and more United States gold medal celebrations.
It's Ram Truck Month right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Or pick your financing deal. 0% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. America's best-selling truck comes with a terrific powertrain limited warranty. 10 years or 100,000 miles. Excludes RHO and tungsten. See dealer for details. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's nice and mild out there this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 72 and an isolated shower that could pop up anywhere. 59 overnight tonight, and it remains cloudy. Then we'll see a gray day for tomorrow with a chance of a shower and a warm day, 76, which could break our previous record high of 75.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 267 points to 49,395.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The United States women's hockey team.
Let's go.
Gold medalists. Drape the flags on your shoulders. Wear them like a cape because you're superheroes. I can't imagine what that feeling is like. Scoring the game-winning goal in overtime against Canada to win the gold.
United States gave up 2 goals the entire Olympics.
Not one more, thank goodness. Not a single more, at least in this game. 2-1 the final score, overtime. All right, I'll be the good competitor here for a second. Canada brought it out of them. They brought every last ounce of competitive spirit out of the United States team, which went into the gold medal matchup, having outscored their opponents, including Canada earlier, was 31 goals to 1 allowed. And then at the end of regulation in this one, it was 1-1. So, their first however many games leading up to the gold medal match, the United States had a 30-goal differential, and the goal against Canada, it was tied. And the game against Canada, it was tied going into overtime. But the United States found a way to win it. Obviously, the goal scorers are going to get a lot of the love, but shout out to the blue line. Shout out to the goalie making, literal gold medal saving saves multiple times over the last 2/3 in overtime of that game. That was really fun. And if you want if you can imagine, as excited as we sound right now, this is about a 0.2 compared to the 12 out of 10 reaction we had when the goal was scored. You can go check it out on our social medias.
I took my shirt off.
He did. There was some flexing and some throwing around your head like a helicopter.
Oh yeah.
There was the whole deal. Goodness, that's fun.
Let's go. By the way, Hillary Knight, shout out to her.
Captain.
Game tying goal. It's her last Olympics. Set the record. Most goals scored, men's or women's, in Olympic history. 15.
Did you talk about a walk-off into the sunset?
Right?
She's like, thank you. Good night, everybody. Scores the game time. It was 1-0. Canada was ahead. Knight scored with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. They had pulled the goalie. The United States had pulled the goalie to score that game tire from Knight. Then her teammate finishes it off in overtime. Thank you, everybody. Good night. That's it for my Olympic career. That's John Elway-esque. That's pretty darn good as far as a see you later. Goodness, that was fun. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'll tell you right now, your move, men's team, right? The women were rolling. The men went and got an overtime winner yesterday. The women looked at the men, said, "Oh, that's fun, overtime game winner. Well, how about one for a gold medal?
Yeah.
Your move,
cute,
1 up. Can you top this?" Well, the men are playing Slovakia tomorrow, 3:10 Eastern time. That is a semifinal, so the winner advances to the gold medal match, gold medal game. We'll see what they do to try to top this performance. But goodness, the United States women's hockey team set the bar high. We're going to move on from talking about this for a second, maybe to get our collective pulse lowered a little bit. But we'll come back to it, I promise you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's a couple minutes past 4, but it is still time for football at 4. And you know what, Dennis, I'm going to call an audible here. We're going to handle this a little bit differently. We're playing a game of sophomore slump or sophomore jump. So it's slump or jump. Originally, I was going to, we were each going to give our candidates to jump or slump. Who's going to have, of the rookies this past year for the Carolina Panthers, who's going to boost a whole bunch next year, right? You expect big improvement opportunities from first year to second year. You don't have to deal with the draft, the combine. You can just focus on getting better. But also the sophomore slump is a thing as well. Opposing team coordinators have a chance to watch all your film, try to figure out your weaknesses and attack them. So here's what we're going to do. In the interest of kind of rapid fire, I'm going to throw names out here, rookies from this past year for the Panthers, and we are going to say jump or slump, right? Going into the second year, will they jump or will they slump? We'll have a quick decision, quick debate, or quick explanation might be the better way to say that, and we'll go from there. And we'll no particular order. We'll start with this. Dennis, first name, sophomore slump, sophomore jump, Nick Scorton.
Nick Scorton, I say jump.
Why?
I say jump because I think in the last half of the season, he was continually getting better. There's incremental improvement from game to game from him. I think more reps, more snaps, and also just him physically getting older. He'll turn 22 in late August. He's just naturally just going to get better. So I'm going to go with a jump for him.
That's what I go. I go jump, and it's like body development and getting older, right? You won't have to eat as many calories to put on weight and muscle and that sort of thing. Jimmy Horn Jr., slump or jump?
Jump. I think jump because I just don't think that he wasn't used enough for there to be a slump, if that makes sense.
Well, I went slump
so I would say jump.
Because I don't see there being a huge opportunity for him next year. I think they're going to add at least one veteran, and other than that, I think the oxygen in the wide receiver room is going to be swallowed up by McMillan and Coker and either a veteran or a draft pick that they bring in. Unless he's returning kicks, which I would like to see him do more of, I don't know if there's a huge opportunity for him. Quickly here, let's go to the big dog, Tetairoa McMillan, sophomore slump, sophomore jump.
I think there might be a slump here.
Interesting.
I think there might be a little bit of a slump. I think just because the expectations are so high and defenses are going to key in on him solely this offseason in terms of, all right, how do we stop that guy?
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole season to tape. I could see a little bit of a slump, but I think that also might be a byproduct of you might see Coker get a little bit more. You might see some others contribute a little bit more.
I have jump for two reasons. One, when you are one of those top prospects, you don't get a break, right? You go straight from your college season to the parade of the combine, all the interviews, you're flying around, you're doing every pro day, this, draft, that, got to be there in attendance. He's from the West Coast and spends time in Hawaii, which means the free time involves travel and everything else. I don't think this guy's had a break in a long time, and he had a break this offseason, which gives him time to work on getting better. And also, I think one of the biggest flaws in his game is very fixable, and that's concentration drops. So I see him just focusing a ton on, getting on the jugs machine, making 1 million catches a day, and that alone will kind of eliminate one of his weaknesses. So, I'm just high on him as an ability. So I think he's going to have a jump, maybe like a 1,200-yard season, but also really where I think the jump is going to come is touchdowns. I think he could be a double-digit touchdown guy.
That's fair.
And see where that goes. Prince Human Mielen, slump or jump?
I think it's a slump.
Why is that?
I just don't think – I think that Dan Morgan is going to go after edge rusher in both the draft and free agency, so I just don't think he's going to get the snaps that I think he should get. So I'm going to say slump.
I went I agree with – well, I don't even want to say I agree with you. I went jump, but I do think it's wildly situational. It depends who they bring in. It depends. Do I know if he gained weight? There's a bunch of things that it depends on. But I went jump being optimistic because I think it's kind of outside his hands in a lot of ways. If he gets to be an every third down, like pin your ears back edge rusher, I expect a jump. If he doesn't get to do that, I'd probably expect a slump. All right, we have time for two more here. Quick as you possibly can. Lathan Ransom, safety.
Jump.
Why?
I think he actually might be the starter at free safety at the beginning of the season.
I went slump just because I think they're going to bring one in.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think not anything that has to do with him. I don't think he's worse. I don't think he slacks off. I think he just might not have as many opportunities because they bring someone in and Merrick ain't coming off the field.
I also think as well as the fact that he has carved out a role for himself. So at minimum, there is a trust to put him out there on the field in dime situations. So at minimum, he's still going to see the field probably 40% of the time at minimum. I just think you're going to see even more big plays from him.
Last one, Corey Thornton.
Jump.
Yeah.
jump.
Just with opportunity. I don't know how much he'll get, but it'll be more than he got last year.
I think he's going to push Shaw Smith-Wade to start at nickel.
I agree. And we don't know who they're going to bring in. They could draft another guy for that role. But he didn't get it. He played well, and the advanced analytics loved him, but he really didn't play as much as it seemed like he played. So I think he will play more this year, and that just gives him more opportunity to jump, if you will. And that was one of the world's quickest versions of sophomore slump or jump here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We will take a break. When we come back, we have cons and cons for the ACC. Stick around.
By the way, Tim, just to remind the people out there, we just won a gold medal.
United States women's hockey team.
Let's go. We just won a gold medal.
In the world. World domination of women's hockey, United States.
Let's go.
Back after this.
Move your sports day forward.
Even with no moves by the Olympic roster freeze day, don't believe the Canes front office isn't answering the door on potential additions and seeing who's on the other side. You know that door knock, right? Sometimes it's the Girl Scouts with cookies. Sometimes it's a misdelivered package. If it's the latter, you hope you've got a good neighbor to work with and maybe you still get something out of it.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Kid Rock. A celebration 250 years in the making. Freedom 250 Tour. The Road to Nashville. Friday, May 8th at Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh. With Brantley Gilbert. And them Dirty Roses. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
American Badass!
The ultimate American party. Presented by Live Nation.
Breaking news. Multiply the Cash scratch-offs are here and have $1 billion in total prizes. Mike's live on the scene.
The word is out, and with so much cash up for grabs, everyone's getting in on this $1 billion. Grandma?
Out of my way, Mikey. Granny's on a roll.
You heard it here first, folks. Get in on $1 billion of wins with new Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.01 to 4.82. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity in your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto. In a matter of days, they had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact and didn't even need an appraisal. With all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You could do it too. LoanPronto.com. Their rapid equity loan program can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it, consolidated all their high interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier, get your life back. Interest rates are at a 3-year low. Call Loan Pronto, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Oh, it's starting to set in for the United States women's hockey team. You can see it on their faces.
Start bringing those medals out, baby.
The adrenaline shock of winning in overtime in the gold medal matchup against Canada starting to wear off, and it's starting to set in that they are Olympic champions. The emotions. Let's go.
I took my shirt off. I was so excited.
You did. And
yeah.
you can see it on social media, everybody. 99.9 The Fan across multiple platforms. That felt like Anchorman. I got a guy with a trident. Yeah. Yeah, you did. Been meaning to talk to you about that. You should lay low for a while.
Brick, where'd you get a grenade?
You know what? If a trident showed up in that celebration, I would have felt it. It would have been part of it. That was pretty exciting. Overtime victory, gold medal match. What a move! That one's going to be played in slow motion on a lot of highlight films. All right, we'll take a minute to stop talking about the.
I love the reaction of the head coach, by the way.
Oh, tears immediately.
Oh, he
Just
didn't
waterworks.
jump up. He literally just breathed and just started crying.
Well, to be fair,
I would too.
Well, they had won every game 5-1, 5-0, 6-0. You never want to allow yourself this as a competitor, as a coach, as an athlete. They already beat Canada 5-0 once in this tournament. They probably did in the back of their mind go this is, let's go out here and partake in the formality of the gold medal match, which obviously you do everything you can to tamp down that instinct, but it's there. And then to be down 1-0 with a couple of minutes left, that'll bring about some waterworks when you overcome that adversity and win the game. So credit to them, shout out to them. And now they are bringing in the medals. This is the messed up part. See, they're bringing in 9,000 medals, right? Because there's a bunch of people on the team and everyone that played deserves to get a medal. This counts as one medal in the total medal count. Meanwhile, you can have some skier do one run down Super G, takes a minute or whatever it takes, and that counts the same as what this group of women did over the last 3 weeks, overcoming all that adversity, winning the game. That's one medal for Team USA, and Super G some cross country skiing 5K that takes 9 minutes. That's also a medal. That's equal. I don't know. Doesn't feel fair. The United States should have more medals on our tally, is what I'm saying. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's take a break from celebrating the United States women's hockey gold medal and turn towards the other thing that's been making this break from the Carolina Hurricanes so enjoyable. That's college basketball. And let's head into some cons and cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about for each of the ACC basketball teams, men's basketball teams in the Triangle here in North Carolina? We'll answer for all three. What are you most confident? What are you most concerned about? Even if you're confident in multiple things, you're concerned in multiple things, you have to choose just one. If you want to participate, jump in our YouTube live stream comments, 99.9 The Fan, our YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there. Check out the live stream comment section open for your use. Just go ahead and jump in there. Let us know what you're most confident, most concerned about for each team. Dennis, you always decide the order. What team are we starting with?
Let's see. NC State got the win over Carolina a couple of nights ago, so let's actually go with NC State.
All right, and as always, we start with the bad news, right? I got good news and bad news. Which do you want? You always take the bad news, so we start with concern. Dennis, you can lead off. What are you most concerned about?
My concern is the consistency of NC State, because we have seen them play, obviously, when they are playing at their best, when they're, especially a recent streak up until a couple of losses. But when they're playing at their peak, they legit look like a team that could threaten to go to the Elite Eight. They legit do when they are playing at their best. But we have heard Will Wade, their head coach, question their toughness and question, which again, it's popped in and out at different times this season. So it's too much volatility in their game. That's my concern, is that they look like a team that could go to the Elite Eight, but they also look like a team that could get bounced the first weekend of the tournament.
Mine is similar, but maybe more specific. It's the consistency of their energy.
Yeah, that's kind of that.
Particularly in non-rivalry games. Like, if they're playing a team that they have reason to hate, like personally, rivalry or a team with history of some kind, I have no doubt in my mind they're going to show up and play some of their best basketball. Whether they win or lose or not, that's decided by the actual basketball talent. But they're going to show up ready to scratch and claw and do everything they can to win. In some of the more run-of-the-mill games, I think they've left a little bit of that to be desired. And I would just add the caveat that that's maybe everybody except Quadir Copeland. He tends to bring the anger or the edge, whatever you want, sandpaper every game. But there's been some moments where I'm like, why am I not seeing more fight from NC State? And you should never ask that about a team, especially one that's coached by Will Wade. And it seems like, if he drew up his perfect player, the first thing he would say is like, well, first of all, they're really angry. Before he got to like tall or ability to shoot, he would go like, well, they don't get pushed around. That's number one. Yet occasionally I don't get that vibe. So that's my concern. What's your confidence for the Wolfpack?
My confidence is that when they are hitting from three,
they can
good
shoot.
luck stopping them. Plain and simple. Good luck stopping them.
Mine's Quadir Copeland. I think
that's fair.
He's my favorite surprise of the year. It was Henry Vasar for a long time, but with the injury and a few other things, he just, it's fallen. My enthusiasm for him has fallen a little bit. But Quadir Copeland is I don't know what I was expecting from him. I think I was just expecting like attitude and good defense. He is an elite initiator of the offense. He's an elite passer in addition to being kind of what I expected him to be. And he's a veteran guard, right? Veteran, been through a lot, years at Syracuse, McNeese State. Now he's at NC State. The experience there, I think, will pay dividends as they get to the postseason portion of their schedule. And I completely get it if you hear this and you're a fan of a different team, if you absolutely hate him. I mean, it's not a hidden part of his game that he is the type of guy who you love when he's on your team and you hate when he's not. So even if you dislike him, I think you would respect his effectiveness. And he's experienced in the tourney, right? He was part of that McNeese State team that made some waves last year. So there you go. There's my confidence.
You got to think he's been one of the better portal pickups in the country.
Yes.
Vasar at UNC.
Both of them.
Fantastic
Yes.
portal pickups.
Absolutely. And like main characters on their team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Vasar probably was, maybe he's 50-50 as far as like brought in to be a star or a role. I think Quadir Copeland was brought in to kind of play a role and became a star, which is the best kind of glow up. All right, what team are we going to next?
Let's go to Duke.
All right, Duke, concern, lead us off.
My concern with them is still the consistency of their outside shooting. It feels like, and it's been like this all season long, that if Isaiah Evans doesn't get hot from outside,
Which he is right now. But who knows how long that lasts? He's been a little streaky.
If you don't have him hitting from outside, who else is there that can consistently do it? Now, I know Cameron Boozer can.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting at about 38% clip on the season, which is good. But I also don't want him to be just the other guy. Like, they need to get more from their backcourt when it comes to outside shooting, whether that's from Sarr, whether that's from Hemanga, whether Caleb Foster just needs to shoot more from the outside. Maybe that's the answer. But they need more than just, let's hope Isaiah gets hot.
I'm going big man depth. And this leads into, or it doesn't lead into, this stems from a lot of the preview reporting I'm seeing for this big matchup against Michigan on Saturday. Almost every reporter or every analyst just throws in the, like, if Gongba gets in foul trouble, that could be a big turning point in the game. And I'm just like, if everyone that is previewing this game knows if Gongba gets in foul trouble, it could really hurt Duke's chances of beating an elite team. Well, what happens if Gongba gets in foul trouble? Is Cameron Boozer's great. I think he's National Player of the Year. Is he ready to defend the other team's best 7-footer and do that for a 10-minute stretch if Gongba has to sit? That's a different task than what he's been given. So a little big man depth conversation there. If they both stay healthy, stay available, no foul trouble, I'm not worried about their big man at all, which I was at one point in time earlier this year. What are you confident in for Duke?
My confidence is their defense, and it's their defense's ability to keep teams out of the lane, whether it's through dribble drives or just even with post entries, whatever it is. Other teams just struggle, and it's a fight for them to try and get in the lane against Duke's defense, and other teams just struggle with it. That's why they consistently out-rebound their opponents. It's just difficult for other teams to get second-chance opportunities because of how strong their defense is.
Yeah, I wrote down defense. It's been the constant, right? I jokingly have made like a theme for them, like defense doesn't slump. So that when they're streaky shooting and they can only score 65 or 67 or whatever it is, it doesn't feel as bad because they only give up 54. Meanwhile, if they score 100, they can give up 60-something. And it's still great, right? Like it gives their offense some wiggle room that their defense has been so consistent. Obviously, that'll be tested against some of the best offenses in the country. Michigan up on Saturday, but they gave up whatever it was, 71. I'm remembering off the top of my head against Carolina. There are teams that can score, and they will be tested by that. But for the most part, their defense has shown up every single day, and that's just a lovely. If you're a coach, just a lovely buoy to grasp onto as you're treading water. Just all right, the defense is there. And you can do everything you can, right? Pull every trick out of the bag to go ahead and bring the offense up to speed. That is our confidence and concern for Duke. And, of course, that only leaves one other school in the triangle. And this order is, I make Dennis choose just because, we kind of want it to be random. There's no order of superiority or anything there. But Carolina's last. We have a concern and a confidence for the Carolina Tar Heels.
Well, we got to do confidence for Duke.
Oh, but what's that defense?
Oh, that's right. We did. Never mind.
See, you take it for granted.
See,
you take the defense for granted over there.
You do.
I didn't even remember talking about them. Let's go ahead and jump to Carolina. What is your concern for the Tar Heels?
Obviously, the easy one to go is Wilson and Vasar being hurt. And there's the long-term program. That's easy. But I think what the concern for me is that not having Wilson and Vasar in the lineup exposes the weakness that they have in their backcourt. Because now it can't get covered up by, okay, well, you can just get the ball to these two big guys. You don't have that anymore.
Yep.
So now your backcourt flaws, the ability to create their own shots, at least as a whole, again, as a collective. Like, for example, Powell's an outside shooter, catch and shoot. Young's more of an outside shooter. These guys are guys that create their own shots. Kyan Evans isn't the guy that creates his own shot. Seth Trimble can dribble and get past some guys, but he's not a true finisher in my eyes. He could score some, but he's not a guy that you're going to rely on consistently to get you 17. And
True.
Dixon's still a freshman. I like Dixon a lot. I'm a big fan of his. I've been singing his praises for a long time. But I think as a whole, their backcourt truly has been exposed without Vasar and Wilson in the lineup. That's the concern.
Just a quick little update here, and I don't know if this is meaningful at all, but I'll pass it along to you, and you can use the information how you see fit. A bunch of the national media right now, at the same location where Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, spoke earlier today. A few of the national media are doing an exercise where they get to go in and basically be the committee. They get to use the same programs, the same metrics, so they have a better understanding of what happens in the committee room when the seating happens on Selection Sunday. And Matt Norlander of CBS Sports, their senior writer and analyst, is a part of that, and he's kind of live tweeting it. And he did send out just four minutes ago, the Media Mock Committee, which is what they're calling themselves, has decided to handle North Carolina as though Caleb Wilson will be returning from injury and available to play in the NCAA tournament. So as they do their mock seeding and mock bracket building, they are putting Caleb Wilson on Carolina, which, tells you a few things, right? In this exercise, they do take injuries into account for where you should be seated. I have heard for a long time that injuries are not taken into account, or at least not nearly as much, for who makes the tournament. But once you are in the field, then it does impact your seeding. So for the, whatever it's worth to you, the media is acting as if Caleb Wilson will be back for the NCAA tournament. Now, my concern, along the lines of what Dennis said, it's simply the Carolina backcourt. It's their guard play. And even someone like Derek Dixon, who Dennis has been championing, and I think a lot of people are really excited about, and that's the big positive addition, right? When he started playing more is kind of when their season tilted up for the good up until the injuries. He's shooting 33.6%. That's not a great three-point shooting percentage, and that's his overall shooting percentage. So the efficiency isn't quite there for even the guy that showed up and made things better, right? When he started playing, things started clicking. And that it doesn't. What was he? 1 for a 15 against in their most recent game against State.
Something wild like that.
33.6% isn't going to get it done, and especially if Wilson and or Vasar aren't available, because if they're playing, you just have to be just good enough to take advantage of their great play. If they're not playing, you have to be good enough even without their great play. You probably need to be 50%, let alone not 33.6% if you're a volume shooter. And finally, let's get to the more fun part. UNC, what is your confidence for the Tar Heels?
Outside of knowing that Wilson and Vasar are going to be coming back, outside of that, I think the confidence for me when it comes to the Tar Heels right now is that you may have discovered a little bit of something that you had depth-wise up front. Because you look back at the NC State game, who are your leading scorers? Jaron Stevenson, who's been a starter for much of the year. But then also you found with Zayden High, getting a lot of minutes. And he got double-digit points for this past Tuesday against NC State. So I think for me, the fact that you have found maybe a little bit more depth in the front court than you maybe even realized you had before, because it's mostly been Stevenson, Vasar, Wilson, those three guys up front. You may have found that, hey, in a pinch, if there's foul trouble or a guy's still feeling a little bit of an injury, you could throw Zayden High in there in the front court and still get production from him.
I mean, that's similar almost exactly to what I have. I have big men, and I'm adding Stevenson to the list. Mm-hmm. I think the big men have been their confidence for a bulk of our cons and cons this year talking ACC basketball, but it's been mostly Wilson, Vasar, Wilson, Vasar, Wilson, Vasar. I'm going Wilson, Vasar, Stevenson now. Like, as a third big or as a third tall guy, right, because sometimes he does play out on the perimeter kind of at a position at the 3. As a third 6'10 plus, he's really good. Caleb Wilson as a number 1 is really good. Vasar as a number 2 is really good. Now they have a really good number 3 as well. So that's my confidence. Just get the guard play up to that level, and you'd have something cooking. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is cons and cons. If you have something you are confident or concerned about, got to pick the thing you're most confident or concerned about. For each of those teams, you can always send it to us, 99.9 The Fan, on YouTube in the live stream comments.
We actually have one. This one comes from Grandmaster. Grandmaster Forks says, my concern for NC State is having a week off after beating UNC. Keeping that energy before hitting the road at UVA is going to be tough.
That's glass half full, glass half empty.
That's a fair point.
Because if you played right away, you might be worried about a hangover, right? This might let you recharge. It's glass half full, glass half empty. It's the coach has to know, what buttons to push to get your team back to that level of electricity for your next game. But, I don't know if there's – I think every coach would answer differently on, what do you like in your game to follow a really emotional one? Some would say another rival, primetime, the next night. Some would say, give me a week. I don't know if there's a right answer there. All right, let's.
USA is getting their gold.
Yeah, I was going to say we got to get.
Let's go.
United States women's hockey gold medal. Let's go. And before we focus in on the women's hockey, it is time for the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy, and I believe they have updated with the women's hockey gold. Norway still leads the way in total medals with 34. But guess what, Italy? There's a tie for second most total medals. 26 apiece, the host country, Italy, and the United States of America. 26 total medals for Italy, 26 total medals for the United States. Japan in fourth with 22. In gold medals, Italy still has a one gold lead on us. Norway has 16. They're in first. Italy in second with 9. The United States one behind with 8. When you add that USA women's hockey medal, it brings us to within 1. But I can tell you this, Italy, as Canada just learned with about 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the gold medal match in women's hockey, you don't want to be up just 1 on the United States of America, because that can disappear quickly. Maybe lose it in overtime. The United States, third in gold, tied for second now in total medals. Norway leads the way in both. That has been the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy. They're listening to the anthem. They're wearing the gold medals. They're living out childhood dreams. United States women hockey gold medals. Best women's hockey team in the world.
No debate.
I know, you can't debate it.
Can't debate it.
It was settled on the ice.
Can't debate it.
It was settled on the ice.
They gave up 2 goals the entire time. 2. That's it.
1 even strength.
That's true. Only one even strength.
Gave up 1 shorty. She was like, the other one was a power play goal? No, I didn't say that.
Nope.
I didn't say that.
That's true.
Elsewhere in the winter games out there in Italy, how about this? I thought, just as a story, shout out to United States of America, Jake Cantor, who took bronze in snowboard slope style on Wednesday. This was yesterday. The reason why I give him a shout out is the podium, meaning the entire gold, silver, bronze, didn't include any of the top 3 qualifiers.
Really?
So it was a complete upset, out of nowhere podium, and in snowboarding, the United States is the big bad bully on the block, right? We are the best. We have the most snowboarding medals, both total and gold, in snowboarding history, and we win by a bunch. We have all the legends, the Shaun Whites, the Chloe Kims. We had the best of the best. So if you were to say that there was massive upsets and everyone on the podium was kind of an underdog that wasn't supposed to be there, natural inclination would be, oh man, the United States must have done terribly. But Jake Cantor was part of the underdogs that got up there on the podium when they quote unquote weren't supposed to. So shout out to Jake Cantor for, keeping our dominance alive, even though just kind of snuck on there with a bronze. Also, there's going to be a lot of love, as there should be, for the women's team, which just won gold medal. But let's jump into Team USA men's hockey, who won yesterday in an overtime, and now have a semifinal against Slovakia tomorrow, 3:10 Eastern, which will be going on while we're doing this show. So we'll be yelling and screaming about that one too.
Shirts might come off.
We'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
It's got to be. It's got to be electric.
Yeah.
It's got to be electric. That can't be. You can't overuse that one, right?
No, it can't.
But that if they do something like the women just did, then yeah, I get it. If we were to break it down like strictly, almost analytically, the United States did get the draw that you'd want in the semifinals.
Oh, yeah.
Slovakia is not Finland. They probably got the worst draw in the quarterfinals, having to play Sweden. But having escaped that with an overtime victory, they now draw Slovakia. Canada and Finland are facing each other on the other side of the semifinals. That's like Canada-Finland is 2 teams filled with almost entirely NHL players. I think Finland has 23 of their 24.
Yeah, I think Finland has 1 defenseman, I believe. That's not in the NHL.
Slovakia has 7 NHL players.
They have 7 current, but they do have guys who have played in the NHL or play in the American Hockey League, things like that.
So, again, you don't assume anything, and these are the best hockey teams, out there, and the best that some really hockey-crazed countries have to offer. But another way to break it down, right? I'm just setting the stage. I'm not saying what this means. You can do with this information as you see fit. If you go by NHL payrolls, United States players, $199.3 million.
Okay.
Canada, $191.5 million.
Okay.
Finland, $115.8 million.
All right.
Sweden was actually about $50 million more than Finland, who has already been eliminated. Czechia,
165.
167.8.
Okay.
So yeah. Czechia, $61.7 million. Switzerland, $49.9 million. Germany, $48.7 million.
Most of that's Leon Draisaitl.
True. good chunk of it. Slovakia, $19.9 million. So again, they're going to be revved up and playing that underdog mentality against the big, bad, rich, all these soft NHL playing Americans. Match that grit. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow.
I will say, though, watch out for Slovakia tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have a young stud, Juraj Slafkovský.
Give us the breakdown. What do we need to know about Slafkovský?
He was the number 1 overall pick just a few years ago.
I read about this guy.
Power forward, 6'3", 225, Duke can score. And he's lighting it up at the Olympics, and he's only 21 years old.
There was a point where, in the tournament, I don't know if it's still true, where if you looked, I think it was points, just the leaderboard who has the most points, it was 6 guys at the top that were all number 1 overall picks. And he was the one that I was like, who is that? And I clicked on it and read about him. He's a big boy. He's a powerful individual.
He has, in the NHL this season, he's played in 57 games. He has 21 goals and 24 assists.
You know who's probably going to become quite familiar with that guy?
Jacob Slavin?
Yep. He's probably going to become
absolutely
quite familiar with him because that's what that line does. That's what that pairing, on the defensive side for the United States is tasked with. You take the opposing team's best and you do your best to shut them down.
You want to talk about, just real quick, great contracts? He's making $7.6 million a year. He's 21 years old, and he's playing at this level at age 21, and he's making $7.6 million a year for the next 8 years.
That'll age nicely.
Oh, yeah. That's like getting Seth Jarvis signed earlier in his deal.
So if you take away his 7.6, the rest of Slovakia is getting like 12 mil.
Yep.
He's their Atlas. He's putting their world on his shoulders and trying to carry him. So at least you know, right? There's the scouting report for you. That one's tomorrow, 3:10 Eastern, United States, Slovakia, men's hockey, semifinals. You win, you're into the gold medal match.
By the way, a Carolina Hurricane is guaranteed to have a medal coming back.
Correct. I mean, Seth Jarvis or Sebastian Aho are guaranteed.
Yes, somebody is. Or even,
Because
either
one
way,
of those is going to be in the gold medal match because Finland and Canada are playing each other.
Yes.
You could potentially have
all three.
You could have all three that are still playing in Slavin, Aho, and Jarvis bringing home hardware. But if they do, you can best believe the color of that medal matters, and they will hear about it in that locker room.
Oh, yeah.
And Ehlers and Anderson are probably like, yeah, I know. But they different beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Denmark, I'm not sure they had the supporting cast that some of these other guys have. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have a feedback frenzy coming up, but first, let's hear from Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here real quick. My friends over at Law Tigers. I'm excited. There's been a lot of winning going on, a lot of excitement today, and I'm excited to continue to let you know, as a hockey fan, of an opportunity that you have a chance to win because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Motor Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Simple to enter. You go to caniacsbike.com. Again, caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win that custom Canes Ducati motorcycle. If you want to see it in person, just swing on over to Art Motor Garage. It's located right here in Raleigh. Shiny Side Paint, also located right here in Raleigh, did a fantastic job of putting the decals and the colors and truly a one-of-one motorcycle at Art Motor Garage. Check it out. caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there. It literally takes a minute to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Bike will be given away April 4th live on the ice, and it includes tickets into a catered suite as well. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with a feedback frenzy coming up.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Now a steal by Brown, a spin and a dunk!
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil lets it fly and cans it. Paul McNeil, fourth second half triple.
Did he just do that?
Trimble draws the foul and gets the layup to go. Another three-point chance for the Hills.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan. Driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Fairway Green, and Wake Man.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $6.99. That's right, just $6.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $12 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Coach, I need a concierge service. Do you handle that?
Oh, yeah. We have a private wealth division for $10 million and up, too. But what I spend my time, most of the time, on our second floor, which is for anyone who wants to get started with a plan, has a plan they're not sure of, had a plan with an advisor they don't really trust anymore, or losing money, whatever.
Yeah.
Or getting close to retirement and realizing your plan or never put together for you a retirement plan. If you look at all your statements and you don't see here's what your monthly income will be in retirement forever, in other words, can't go away, you don't have a true retirement plan. And most of you listening don't. If you have a 401k, you don't have a retirement plan. You have a building instrument that's building money up for retirement, but it's not a retirement plan. We can take that 401k and turn it into a true retirement plan. We're going to do that for the next 15 of that no cost or obligation. We'll at least show you in writing what it can look like. It's up to you to decide if you want to act on it. So call right now. You also get 3 of the books I've written when you come in.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time, first of all, to celebrate a gold medal for the women's hockey team for the United States. Overtime winner over Canada. They're now bringing the families out onto the ice. So you got the,
which is awesome.
The kids just adding an even more emotion to the parents. But either way, it is also time right here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan for what we call a feedback frenzy. All right, Dennis, what are they saying on the internet?
All right, Tim, let's actually dive into yesterday. We had a conversation about the NC State and UNC basketball game from a couple nights ago. And we had the conversation specifically about Hubert Davis.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes from Mike Phil. Mike Phil says this: as a Carolina fan, I didn't see any effort, and that's something you don't need talent for. Shaking my head. I blame coach and not the so-called leaders on the team.
I'm not sure I'm all in on it. I'm not going to co-sign that one fully. I think it was more decision-making than effort. Like, they got a bunch of offensive rebounds. Like, that's usually seen as like the number one hustle thing on the planet is offensive rebounds, right? You just want it more. The issue was once they tracked down the offensive rebounds, they would kick it to a shooter who was not on fire, and they'd brick another 3, and then they'd have to go back to like it was to me more decision-making question marks than effort. And then obviously once State started running away with it and it got it kind of carried away, yeah, then I saw some lapses and some effort, but same thing at NC State, Louisville. If you're down 20-something, sometimes it's hard to be all about the details. You'd want them to be. I'm not excusing it, but I saw some, especially early, some effort.
All right, this one comes from Larry Kahn. Larry Kahn says, let's face it, Hubert Davis doesn't have a plan. All year, inconsistently in the backcourt and a lack of defense.
Definitely, I don't want to say he didn't have a plan. He didn't have like a plan B is what frustrated me. He had a plan. It just when that plan didn't work, it was almost like, well, we tried. And I didn't get down with that. That's what I don't like. And he even said it after the game. He's like, we knew we were going to have to hit threes or take threes and make threes to win that game, and we couldn't do it. And I'm paraphrasing. I forget exactly what he said, but that was the gist. And I went like, what do you mean? If you don't make threes, you just knew that, all right, that's over? Like, no, you got to have something else you can do. So that's what frustrated me.
All right, this actually comes from a Duke perspective along the same lines of Hubert Davis. In the 2024-2025 season, Duke played in the ACC tournament where both Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown didn't play. We didn't whine. We went and took it. Talk about that.
Do you think Con Knippel is on Carolina right now? Like,
yeah, is Tyrese Proctor stepping out there?
There's
Common Malawash.
Different teams depend more on different guys. I think Duke this year is actually built more to depend on, one or two or three guys much more than they were last year. And that's not to say better or worse. It's just to say Cam Boozer is dependable enough that if you took him off the floor, I think that would really hurt Duke. If you took him and Isaiah Evans off the floor, I think that would really hurt Duke. Last year, Malik Brown, I'm a big fan. I think his defense is incredible. He's not the second best player on last year's Duke team, right? So the equivalent would be taking Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg off of Duke's team last year. That is what happened to UNC, right? Take away your two best players, your two leading scorers, and see how you handle it, because that's what happened to UNC, right? Con Knipple was the ACC tournament MVP, right? He's the one that really stepped up in Cooper Flagg's absence and said, I'll be the guy. One might say it made him the 4th overall pick. Henry Vasar may have done that with Caleb Wilson out. He may have said, I'll be the superhero, but he wasn't available. So it's not apples to apples as much as I see Duke fans wanting to make that like, we dealt with the same thing. As a mighty, probably over-compliment to Malik Brown.
All right, let's shift focus over to the Carolina Panthers. We had a conversation yesterday about what Xavier Legette's future at wide receiver when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. This one comes from Caleb Schuler. Caleb says this: I honestly think that Xavier Legette would find huge success as a Deebo Samuel, Ty Montgomery type. His athletic explosiveness with the ball in his hands is his X factor. I don't think it's in Carolina's offense, but I think he would be great as a physical runner / receiving back.
I no disrespect to the commenter. This is one of my pet peeves of modern sports. Deebo Samuel is not easy to replicate. Don't disrespect Deebo Samuel that way, as if he's just some guy that's strong and a little bit heavier than most wide receivers. Deebo Samuel is a polished wide receiver that was playing with one of the best play callers in the world out there in San Fran. That's not easy. And I see so many people, if a guy's just not like, if he's a good athlete and he's not producing as a wide receiver, it's so like, I don't know, fallback to just go, well, I think he should be in a Deebo Samuel role. And I'm just like, that's not an easy role to play. To be good enough to know how to be a running back in the NFL and how to be a slot receiver and how to be a move tight end and how to be an outside wide receiver and do so, all of it at a way that is so polished that you can do it at the NFL level, that's not easy. That's like, looking at anyone that's, that has a strong arm and is a like outfielder and go, I think he should try to do the Shohei Ohtani thing. He throws it hard. It's like, well, he's not a pitcher, right? I definitely do not want to give Xavier Legette more to learn and figure out how to do at an NFL level. I want to give him less and specialize him so you at least know what you're asking him to do, he can do at a super high level, rather than, well, he's not a great receiver, so let's see if he can be a great receiver and running back and gadget guy, and heck, can he punt? It's like, no, take stuff off his plate. Don't put more on his plate.
All right, along those lines, Jeffrey Thompson says this about the Carolina Panthers offense: I strongly think the lack of receiving production outside of wide receiver one is a quarterback problem. I've defended Xavier Legette from the Bryce Young Glee Club for that very reason, but I also think he needs to lose some weight and get rid of some of the distractions outside of football.
I don't do the whole, his social life. If he's putting in the work, he's putting in the work. If he likes to be in front of a camera a bit more, is that better or worse than the herds of NFL players that love playing video games or love doing, so many other things that aren't like getting them better at football 100% of the time? So I'll definitely not co-sign that part. Obviously, every wide receiver is dependent, right? There's no wide receiver that is inevitable. There's no wide receiver that's so good that no matter how bad the offensive line or quarterback is, they're going to produce regardless. Entered Justin Jefferson last season. But there's also, I use this term a lot. We know what a good player looks like in a bad offense, right? We know what a good wide receiver looks like in a bad offense, and we know what a player who is struggling looks like in a bad offense. Or in a bad passing game, or whatever you want to call it. And I very rarely saw Xavier Legette and went, oh, yeah, there's the flash. There's the really good player. I'll use this as an example. I was watching Skylar Bell at UConn. He's a wide receiver at UConn, had like 1 billion catches this year. draft prospect. I was watching him, and I went, not only does he have a really productive profile, a lot of these routes would have been touchdowns at the NFL level if his quarterback didn't kind of miss. And no disrespect to the quarterback, they protected the football insane at UConn. But I don't have a lot of those with Xavier Leggett, where I'm going like, oh, that would have been a huge play if. Matter of fact, there's a couple that would have been a huge play if Xavier Leggett made the play. End of the Eagles game 2 years ago. There's options there. And that has been, we're good? That has been.
That is it.
A feedback frenzy here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. When we return, we'll have the starting five and a few returns and more hype about the winter games. Stick around.
The world's best athletes in Italy are going for the gold, and 99.9 The Fan will help you follow them for all 16 days of the Winter Games through February 22nd. Listen for all the action from across the Atlantic. Check in often for event finals from Italy and the updated medal count as the USA takes on the world. Updates from the Winter Games on 99.9 The Fan are presented by Wake Med.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
February is Heart Health Month, and I'm Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, joined today by Dr. Faisal Khan from Wake Med Heart and Vascular. Is there any type of warning sign that a person experiences before sudden cardiac arrest?
Well, if there is a history of murmurs, if there's a history of passing out and not knowing exactly what happened, if there's a history of sudden cardiac death in the family, or if you have an abnormal EKG, those could be indicators that you may have a problem with your heart. So make sure you talk to your doctor about if you have any of those things happen to you.
What are the warning signs for a heart attack?
So if you're getting more short of breath, you climb a flight of stairs and you're getting short of breath, you have tightness or sensation of books on your chest or heaviness on your chest. If you're having dizziness, those could be signs that you may have problems with the blood flow to your heart, which could lead to heart attacks. If you're not feeling well, don't sit at home. We see that too many times.
Act fast. Dr. Khan, appreciate you taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Go to wakemed.org to find a cardiologist near you or to learn more about your heart's health.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get $4,000 off a new 26 Traverse or 26 Equinox. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I lost over 40 pounds, 42 pounds to be exact, thanks to the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'll say it again, 42 pounds thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. That's over 15% of my body weight. Here's the thing. No drugs, no shots, no injections, no side effects. That's the thing about Raleigh Weight Loss Center and their program is that not only are you going to lose weight, not only are you going to look better, but you're going to feel better as well. I can tell from a daily personal life standpoint how much my hips, my knees, my ankles, how much better they feel when I'm riding my motorcycle, when I'm playing ice hockey, even just daily sitting here in the studio. I feel so much better thanks to the weight that I've lost, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone call. Again, a free 15-minute phone call, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score!
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Close to record highs both today and tomorrow. Temperatures in the 70s out there today. Overnight tonight, it's mostly cloudy and mild with lows in the upper 50s. Some scattered showers in the forecast Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today down 267 points to 49,395. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five on a Thursday. I'm getting Friday vibes, if we're being honest. It feels weekendish, but we actually have a whole nother day, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm excited by it because there's also men's hockey 310 semifinal, United States versus Slovakia. But on a Thursday at 5, just like every other weekday at 5 here on The Drive, we hit the starting five, and we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That felt a bit like Dr. Seuss-ish at the end there. Just jive at 5, and we arrive at 5, alive and ready to thrive. The starting five begins with 5. Sam, I am. It's time for the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy. Let's make sure nothing has changed in the last few minutes here. Norway leads the total medal count with 34 total medals. Italy and the United States are tied in second place total medals with 26. And there's now starting to be some separation as fourth place, because obviously the two tied for second and third. Fourth place in total medals, Japan with 22. So it's as big as that gap has been in quite some time. If you only count gold medals, you only count when you finish in first. If you're not first, your last style stuff. Norway has 16 gold medals. Italy has 9, and the United States, closing that gap, we have 8 gold medals. Just one behind Italy for second place. So Norway's kind of running away with things. Italy, United States in most metrics battling it out for second. And then, Japan, France, Netherlands, Sweden, maybe even throw Switzerland into the mix. They're kind of battling for fourth if you look at it as kind of overall. But that is the Wake Med Winter Games medal count from Italy. I do want to give a shout out to Jordan Stolz, somebody that I've been following. I thought he was going to be, and I think he's going to be, one of the breakout stars. Right after the games, both summer and winter. I don't know if they still do this. There used to always be like the breakout star got to be on the Wheaties box. I think Jordan Stolz might be on that short list if they haven't chosen already. He had 2 gold medals in men's speed skating, the 500 meter and the 1,000 meter already. He was going for his third in the 1,500 meter. And this is crazy. He broke the Olympic record, and he beat 2 other skaters that also broke the Olympic record. And he finished in second to a 4th that also broke the Olympic record, just did so by even more than he broke the Olympic record in the 1,500 meter men's speed skating. That's crazy. 4 Olympic record, or 4 players, 4 skaters, whatever you call them, 4 athletes, competitors, there you go, broke the Olympic record in the 1,500 meter men's speed skating, and which means somebody broke the Olympic record and didn't get a medal. That's brutal. That's awful. Oh, you made it all the way to the Olympics? Did you win? No, didn't even get a medal. Oh, really? Yeah, but before the games, nobody in the history of the event had ever gone as fast as I had in that sport at the Olympics. I just happened to also be there with the 3 best to ever do it, and they did it in the same event. That's crazy. But Jordan Stolz finished second. So now he has 2 gold, 1 silver, and he has one more event coming up. It's something called Mass Start, which is like a more chaotic version of speed skating where you're all out there at once. You're not alone on the ice, and they give points for where you are in the ranks, like at checkpoints. So, through 500 meters, through 1,000 meters, however you're lined up, that's what you end up. You get 5 points for first or whatever. So it's more chaotic, and he could win that as well. I hope he does. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
The Charlotte Hornets
are back in action tonight. That's right, Hornets, 7 o'clock. Houston, the opponent. It's in Charlotte, so they're at home. There's a tale of two stories, okay? And I'll give you both separately about the Hornets back in action after the All-Star break. Story 1 is the Hornets were one of, if not the hottest team in basketball going into the break. They had won 10 of 11. They were really turning their season around with that. They had like a 9-game win streak, dropped one, won the next. That streak had really turned their season around. It turned them from sellers at the deadline to, I would say, not top shelf, but buyers at the deadline for the trade deadline. And they come out of the All-Star game. Con Knipple had some All-Star game activities. There was, 3-point contest, that kind of stuff. So it was like up. The other story is, and there's some reporting being done up in Charlotte. I encourage you to go check out more of the details. LaMelo Ball got into a car accident in Charlotte with some version of a fancy exclusive Hummer. Some damage done. I guess there were minor injuries suffered by not him. He is expected to play tonight against Houston. I think it's a day or two after the reported accident. That's not what you want from your super high money former All-Star, but athletes have to compartmentalize, right? They got to be able to take some stuff happening away from the floor and not let it impact them as an athlete. So you hope everything's dealt with appropriately. Nobody's hurt. Any injuries that were sustained are minor, and the Hornets can pick up where they left off on the basketball court because they were playing some pretty darn good ball before the break. Play the Charlotte Hornets one more time. I just like hearing it.
The Charlotte Hornets.
That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Duke closing in on their 20th win of the season. Foster, here's Boozer. Got it! That felt like the dagger.
Duke, number 3 in the country, number 2 in many of the analytic polls, is taking on Michigan, number 1 in the country and number 1 in most of the analytic rankings, on Saturday in D.C. Duke is, as last I checked, which was like an hour ago, 3.5-point underdogs in this one. They are 24-2. Their 2 losses have come by a combined 4 points. And they are an underdog in a neutral site game. I think that's really good for Duke. I think it's experience that they need. They're still, even though like Cameron Boozer and Caden Boozer, who comes off the bench, and Dame Sarr, who's obviously played a ton of like adults games, right? He's played with a lot of experienced players in Europe throughout his career. Even though they have like a bunch of reasons why they don't appear to be freshmen, they depend on a lot of freshmen. And even Isaiah Evans. I was talking to my dad the other day. We were talking about Duke. And we brought up, I forget how we got there, but he went, Isaiah Evans is what, a junior, senior? And we know it feels like he's a junior, senior because he came back to Duke for his sophomore year. But he is just a sophomore. They don't have a ton of experience on their team. Malik Brown, the main kind of exception there, and maybe Caleb Foster. But this is a game that can give them a little taste of what the biggest games of the year will feel like when you get to the postseason. This isn't me talking. This is pretty much everyone that covers college basketball calling it the biggest game of the regular season, right? It's number 1 versus 2, according to a bunch of experts. That's a big game, neutral court. So what is that? That's 1 and 3 in the AP poll. Number 2 and 4 are also playing against each other that same day on Saturday. But Arizona's dealing with some injuries. They don't have, I believe, Koa Pete, who's their stud freshman. So that's kind of taking just a hint of sizzle out of that game. But it's a massive game for Duke and for Michigan. And don't take this the wrong way, but it's kind of a massive game for Duke and for Michigan with almost no stakes. Unless maybe these two teams face off again in the NCAA tournament and you think there's a mental edge. But like if Michigan loses to Duke, they're not falling out of anything, right? They're not Or they might go from the number 1 overall seed to the 4th number 1 seed. Like, there's kind of very little on the line. If Duke loses, no one's going to go like, oh, they're a fraud. It's like, well, actually, they were 25-2. They have 10 quad 1 wins. They lost to the number 1 team in the country. I guess if it's a blowout, that might change some things.
Maybe.
But it's weirdly what many are describing as the biggest game of the year, and also a game with no stakes. It's non-conference, so it doesn't impact their seeding like in the Big Ten or ACC tournament. It's a really weird game that I think is important for both teams, while also acknowledging like a loss doesn't hurt you.
I mean, yeah, I think the only thing really at stake is, I mean, granted, there's still several games left, but all right, are you the number 2 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, or the number 3, or the number 1? I mean, these teams should be 1 seeds when it's all said and done.
And even, like, let's say one of them falls to the top 2 seed. Like, that's not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
Like, it's the work they've done has put them in a situation to have this game as a opportunity rather than like a necessity. Right? Because if there's a bunch of teams out there that if they got to play one of these teams, it's like, hey, if we don't win this game, we might not make the NCAA tournament. We need this for our resume. We need the quad 1. Like, that's a completely different vibe in this one. But that's not to say it won't be wildly enjoyable to watch and feature some of the best basketball players and some of the best team basketball that we have seen this year. Right? I think it's extremely valuable, just not all that high stakes. That's number 3. How about number 2?
Just the two of us. 34-31 pack up. 2 minutes and 40 seconds since halftime. Holloman up top. He veers to the right. Righty runner in the lane. Swishes it in. Feathery touch.
NC State did not play last night. They have not played since a couple nights ago when they beat Carolina at home. Yet they had a really good day last night. Or a really good night last night because Wake Forest, their in-state conference brethren, did some of their dirty work, beat Clemson. So Wake Forest beats Clemson last night. State moves into 4th in the ACC. They actually have identical 10-4 records. They're both 3 games back of Duke up top, but by way of tiebreaker, which NC State owns, they are currently the 4th seed in the ACC. Which matters. There are tiers, right? The way the ACC tournament is structured, the top 4 get the double bye. You want the double bye, right? You want to get the advancement all the way to Thursday. You want to play fewer games. I know that State did it a couple of years ago, but it is really tough to play, 5 or more games consecutively in the ACC and win them all to win a conference title. You want to play the fewest possible. So State being 4th is huge. Now, the crazy part is, or crazy might not be the right way to say it, but the notable part is, I think a lot of people thought this was impossible when NC State lost to Miami after losing to Louisville, which you may be like, that was so long ago. That was 2 of their last 3 games, right? They lost to Louisville by 1 billion. They lost to Miami on a collapse. They beat Carolina. Those are their last 3 games. And because of who they lost to, right? If you look at the ACC standings right now, Louisville is in 6th. Miami is in 3rd. They were playing all these teams that were kind of on that 4-seed bubble, and they lost to them, so it made it seem impossible. But with a win over Carolina, and then a little bit of help from Wake, they're already in 4th, which tells you a few things. One, for whatever reason, State is their highs are really high in public perception, and their lows are really low in public perception. And I guess if perception is reality, we all buy into it. But when State looks good, when they beat Carolina, you would think they couldn't ever lose again if you ask State fans. When they lose a game like they did to Miami, you would think, Will Wade's on the hot seat 2/3 of the way into his first season. Maybe you smooth that out a little bit and you recognize that in the ACC right now, there's a lot of good teams and anyone can kind of get beat in that group by any of the others any night. Like right now, Duke, they're ahead. And I'd say Virginia is solid in 2nd. But other than that, Miami, State, Clemson, Carolina, Louisville, maybe an SMU. like that whole crew is not unbeatable. Like, it's not set in stone that they're going to win games. Like, there's very few like, oh, they'll win games. But there's also, like, go one tier further down and you hit Cal, you hit Virginia Tech, you hit Wake, you hit Stanford. Like, those teams can beat you on any given night, which hasn't always been the case in the ACC, at least not as of late. So I guess my point is this. I'm rambling to get to one specific deal here. 2 years ago, by this point in the season, I think you kind of knew who the top 4 teams were, right? They were very obvious, like, oh, that team's good, and all these other teams are not. This year, you can go on a losing streak at any point in time in the ACC, so don't count your chickens positively or negatively before they hatch. One good game, one bad game, one tough stretch does not say anything permanently about where you sit in the ACC, because the team you're chasing, they might lose to Wake Forest, right? The team that's hot on your tail, they might beat Miami, right? Like, anybody could kind of jump up and down. You shouldn't bank on anything, and you shouldn't get too high or too low. What I like is I'm still on the 8 NCAA tournament teams from the ACC train. There was a point in time, and this was, again, not that long ago. I've been doing this show now for like 3 years and change, something like that. I'm not good with dates. But there's a point in time where for bold predictions, I was saying, like, bold predictions, the ACC is going to get 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. And I was being optimistically bold. Optimistically. Now, I'd have, like, to be optimistically bold, what would I have to say, Dennis? Would I have to say 9, 10 to get the bell on a bold prediction?
For ACC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 9.
It's a big difference.
I think we're staring at 8, as long as Clemson doesn't continue to collapse.
2 years ago, I probably felt good about 3. I was hoping for 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different beast. So, NC State in 4th. I guess, the next step would be, don't be too excited about that, right? Because if you look at the rest of State's schedule, who are they playing? Well, they're still going to catch Virginia, who's above them in the standings. They're still going to catch Stanford at the end, who I said could beat anybody, right? They've got a freshman that can score. They're still going to play Duke, right? So I think you could probably pencil in a victory over Notre Dame, but even that feels a little dangerous. It's fun to have more good teams in the ACC. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one!
United States women's hockey team. Gold medalists. Unbeaten throughout their entire run. Outscored opponents. Let's see here. What is it? 33-2 throughout the run of the tournament. Both the pool play and knockout portion of their proceedings. 33 goals scored, 2 goals allowed. They did need overtime earlier this evening, if you're listening from Italy, where the games take place. In the gold medal match to beat Canada, they needed a dramatic fireworks come-from-behind victory in the gold medal match, but they got it done. Dennis, I don't know if we've gotten your, no, this is a compliment, your coherent reactions to that game. We got the shirt off, spinning around like a helicopter, excitement, screaming, USA chanting reaction. But we haven't gotten your coherent, right? Your tangible. How did the U.S. pull off the win against Canada? Obviously, they were down 1-0 from a couple seconds into the second period until 2 minutes left in the third period. Tied it up on a goal from Hillary Knight, the captain, and then Keller, the alternate captain, got the game winner in overtime. Would they do well? What did Canada do well to push them to the brink after suffering a 5-0 loss to USA earlier in the tournament?
Early in the first period, the United States took a penalty. I think it was too many players on the ice. And Canada, though they didn't score on that power play, got a lot of really good looks. And for Canada was just sustaining zone time. And all of a sudden, United States was just back on their heels. You go to intermission, U.S. has a power play. They get a couple good looks, but then Canada gets that shorthanded goal. But I felt like the middle part of the second period watching, it's a term that Trip Tracy likes to use a lot, building a game, just slowly continuing to build themselves up to a point where they're sustaining zone time and getting pressure. For it felt like during much of the third period, United States was just getting pressure and just couldn't capitalize on some scoring chances. Great goaltending as well, but as a whole, they were starting to get back to the game that we saw them play. And then they finally, on an offensive zone faceoff, like you mentioned, goalies pulled, but you have to win that offensive zone faceoff. U.S. wins it. Sure enough, point shot. You had the net front. Hillary Knight gets the deflection. And all of a sudden, you're in overtime. That's all you got to get to. You just had to get one. And then they did that. I think, again, they were just slowly – they didn't panic. They slowly just continued like, hey, look, let's just build our game and get to where we need to be to give ourselves a chance. And let's not forget as well, they took a penalty with about 6.5 minutes left. They had to kill a penalty with 6.5 minutes left, the United States did.
That is – also true, and shout out to the obviously goal scorers get all the love, but the goal preventers should as well. The blue line goalie, all those things. You touched on it though, not panicking. That was not a usual game for the United States at this Olympic Games. They scored early, they scored often, and they scored them in bunches in darn near every other game, right? They weren't winning games by 1. They weren't winning games by 2. They were winning games by 4, 5, 6 goals for their entire run until the gold medal match, and then suddenly they find themselves down at the end. And, obviously they're elite competitors, elite athletes, and all of it, but that can rattle you. That can jar you, right? I don't want to say you want to play close games because it's a real Sophie's choice, right? Like, and we've had these conversations about teams in a bunch of different ways. Sometimes there's a college basketball team that averages like a 14 margin of victory, and you start getting to the postseason and you're like, I don't know how they're going to react if they're down 2 and need to draw up a baseline inbound to get the tying bucket with 8 seconds left because we just haven't seen it. And there was some of that. Right, I always, I try to be as honest as I possibly can when we're here on the mic, especially reacting to things in real time. But I was nervous for Team USA. Not obviously everybody was probably nervous with 3 minutes left when you're down 1. But going into the third, I was like, I don't know. Like we don't know how this team with this collection of women at this Olympics reacts to being down 1 in the third period. Obviously, I was worried for all the wrong reasons, and they're a team that does not panic, and they're a team that, stares adversity in the face and giggles, and then goes out there and scores goals. They did not, at any point in time, appear, other than like the tangible, like pulling a goalie makes having the extra attacker appears like you're a little desperate. But the way they played, the way they acted, never appeared as if they were a desperate team, which is a really impressive thing to do on that stage.
2 stats for you from this gold medal game, or just for the whole. United States outscored their opponents 33-2 in the in women's hockey. 33-2.
Put that on a plaque in the USA training facility somewhere.
And here's the other stat: they led for 0 seconds in the gold medal game.
Yeah,
they led for 0 seconds in the gold medal game.
Facts.
Still walked out with a goal. I'm pretty sure there's a sermon in there, but I don't know if I'm going to preach right now.
That's pretty good. And, I mean, like gold medal match, regulation, 1-1. Every other game regulation, 31-1. Like, just the fact that they had their composure in those moments. And make no mistake about it, captain and alternate captain scoring the 2 goals. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence either, right? You look to your leaders in times of need and times of desperation, and they had the answers. So, credit to them. Gold medal, Team USA, women's hockey. The competitor in me wants to say, eat that, Canada. So eat that, Canada. And hopefully now the men's hockey team has something up their sleeve to follow up the performance from the women's team. Men are playing tomorrow against Slovakia, obviously out there in Italy. It's a 3:10 puck drop scheduled, 3:10 Eastern time. So it'll be going on kind of simultaneously with this show. And, I don't know what you're going to do to top the last 2 days. We had an overtime game winner for the men. Shout out to Quinn Hughes. And we had an overtime game winner today for the women. Shout out Megan Keller. The men, it's your turn to return serve tomorrow against Slovakia. But just so you know, it doesn't have to be an overtime game winner. I'd accept like a 3-goal win in regulation.
Oh, yes.
Like I would be A-okay with a nice little, 5-1 win. You don't feel like you have to take it to overtime just to keep the vibes.
This is 4 lines rolling, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Score 100 goals. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do need to grab some contestants for the numbers game. But first, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. Folks, are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? Well, it's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity in your home and get the cash you need now so that you can pay it all off. One couple, Corey and Jack, they called Loan Pronto, and in a matter of days, they had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact and didn't even need an appraisal. With all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month, and you can do it too. LoanPronto.com. Their rapid equity loan program can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Another couple, Chloe and Ethan, they just did that recently, and they consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Just imagine paying off all your credit cards, slashing your monthly payments. Breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates, they're at a 3-year low. So call Loan Pronto 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan needs 2 numbers game contestants. The prize for today, a pair of tickets to see Stained with Seether, Hoobastank, and Hinder in concert at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on September 11th. So call in now if you want to play the numbers game, win the glory that comes with victory, as well as a pair of tickets to see Stained. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win concert tickets to see Stained, Seether, Hoobastank, and Hinder. Again, 919-860-5326. Need 2 contestants for the numbers game next.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
It's Ram Truck Month right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Or pick your financing deal. 0% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. America's best-selling truck comes with a terrific powertrain limited warranty. 10 years or 100,000 miles. Excludes RHO and tungsten. See dealer for details. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Well, spring is on the way, and the next couple of months are going to be critical for lawn care. That's why we're here with Kevin from Fairway Green. Kevin, tell us what we need to be doing.
Well, right now is the very important time to get your first application of pre-emergent crabgrass control down. The proper fertilizer based on your type of turf, whether that's warm season or cool season. And of course, broadleaf weed control. Weeds never stop. Now's a great time to get them before they harden off in the summer.
Great advice as usual. Nothing beats a Fairway Green lawn. Request a free estimate at fairwaygreen.com or call 919-578-8955.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The contestants for today, we have Alex in Goldsboro. We have John in Wilson. We'll bring them each onto the show, ask them each individually the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. And we'll go from there. Prize for today, by the way, tickets to see Stained with Seether, Hoobastank, as well as Hinder at Coastal Credit Union Music Park this September. We'll start with Alex. Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, the question to get us started today is, in honor of a pretty sweet gold medal finish that we just saw in the USA Women's Hockey rink, who's the greatest Winter Olympian in United States history?
I really don't know. I don't really watch the Winter Olympics, to be honest with you.
Okay, well then, should we open up to all Olympians? All right, well, the greatest Olympian in United States history, winter or summer games?
I'm a golfer, so I'm going to go with Xander Schauffele. It was pretty incredible what he did 2 years ago.
All right, Xander Schauffele getting some love. I think he would love to be on that list. Let's go ahead to John and Wilson. John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, same question to you. Who is the greatest Olympian in United States history?
When you said Winter Olympian, my first thought was Apollo Anton Ono, the speed skater. But as far as greatest Olympian all time, I've got to go Michael Phelps.
All right, so you'll go Phelps there. Apollo Anton Ono is getting some love because we have another good men's speed skater in Stoltz. So all of a sudden he's like out there being talked to in the media a whole bunch. Dennis, your choices are Xander Schauffele, the legendary Olympic golfer for a sport that is fairly brand new to the Olympics, or new back to the Olympics might be the better way to say that, or Michael Phelps, who has the most medals in like every category in the history of the Olympics.
It's Phelps.
There you go.
That's pretty straightforward. It's Michael Phelps.
I think that's something like 23 golds versus 1 for Phelps versus Xander, but
I will say this, Xander Schauffele, interesting pull. I respect it.
I like Xander, and also if he could win a gold medal for playing golf and then a gold medal for playing golf with his elbow slightly higher, then a gold medal for playing golf while walking backwards, and then a gold medal while playing golf lefty.
Like on a par 3?
Yeah, maybe he would, because like
mini golf.
A lot of Phelps's medals do come for swimming the exact same distance. He just did it a little differently.
We'll do an Olympics at like a drive shack or a Top Golf.
There we go. Now we're talking. Let's talk to the powers that be. So either way, that means John gets to go first, and then Alex will follow him up after sitting on hold for a second or two. John, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL Panthers throughout history, NFL players that were born in February, NBA players that played in the Paris Summer Games, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
NFL February.
All right, these are all players born in February. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Drake Thomas, Seattle Seahawks.
Pass.
Tony Gonzalez, Atlanta Falcons.
88.
Correct. Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
14.
Correct. Sam Martin, Carolina Panthers.
4.
Incorrect. Alshon Jeffrey, Philadelphia Eagles.
7.
Say it again.
17.
Correct. Drake Thomas, Seattle Seahawks.
12.
Incorrect. Sam Martin, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Incorrect. Drake Thomas, Seattle Seahawks.
57.
Incorrect. Drake Thomas, recent Super Bowl champion. Drake Thomas, local guy, played at NC State. Number 42 is what we were looking for. But you got, and also Sam Martin, 6. So you were in the right path with all the single digits. Just didn't quite get to 6. But you did get 3 right. You got Gonzalez, Godwin, and Jeffrey. For those of you playing at home, Chris Godwin, we would have accepted 12 or 14. He's won them both. But 3 is the number to beat, and we'll see if it holds up. So go ahead and stay on hold. That brings us to Alex in Goldsboro. Alex, you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL Panthers throughout history, NBA players that played in the Paris Summer Games, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Panthers throughout history.
All right, I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it. You need at least 4 for the victory, and I will be saying the team name in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other category. Do you have any questions before we jump in?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers.
2.
Correct. Miles Sanders, Carolina Panthers.
6.
Correct. Nick Scorton, Carolina Panthers.
11.
Correct. Rodney Peete, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Lamar Smith, Carolina Panthers.
21.
Incorrect. Rodney Peete, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Incorrect. Lamar Smith, Carolina Panthers.
27.
Incorrect. Rodney Peete, Carolina Panthers. Oh, so close. Rodney Peete, 9. That's you weren't on top of that one, but Lamar Smith, 26. You said 27, and when you went 20 and you started with the, I was like, oh, he's got it, and then you went 7. Unfortunately, ties go to whoever goes first, so you are not the winner. But hopefully, you had some fun, and you try again another day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. For those of you playing at home, DJ Moore, we would have also accepted 12. He wore both 12 and 2 during his time with the Panthers. But the winner is John. Congratulations, John.
Woo-hoo.
You have earned the right to receive some tickets to see Stained with Seether, Hoobastank, and Hinder at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on September 11th. So go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your tickets.
Thank you.
All right.
And John was sweating that one out a bit.
That's pretty darn close. 27. 26 would have been the whole difference. Sometimes I wonder, there might be a slight delay in our YouTube live stream, because I wonder if they could see it in my eyes when I'm like, and like, I can't. Sometimes you can't help but react when it's real close, unless you're Alex Trebek and you're a machine. And I haven't watched since Ken Jennings took over. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, a little update on what you're getting cooked up for you tonight here on 99.9 The Fan. Right after the show, so 6 o'clock, you're going to hear Wolfpack Weekly with Will Wade, the 5 W's. Wolfpack Weekly with Will Wade radio show where you get insight from the head coach of the men's basketball team at NC State, Will Wade. So that'll be at 6. Then at 7 o'clock, you get the Triangle Rivalry, one of them. Women's basketball, NC State at number 9, Duke. Duke is a 10.5-point favorite, but it is a game you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan. State hunts for the upset at number 9, Duke, who's one of the, obviously they're ranked in the top 10. They're one of the best teams in the country. So that's at 7 o'clock right here on 99.9 The Fan, and that goes as well for 99.9 The Fan, the app. So Google Play or App Store, depending on the phone that you have. Look for it, download it. We'd love to keep providing you content there.
Also, you can listen to Jalen Chatfield on Monday.
Also, Jalen
Cane's
Chatfield.
Corner on Monday.
Cane's Corner, that's Monday, 7 o'clock. You can hear it live here on 99.9 The Fan, the app, our YouTube live stream. Just search 99.9 The Fan at all of those locations. Or you can check it out live at the local.
Yeah, I'll be there.
It's a really cool experience if you haven't been. It's not a gigantic venue. It's a very nice venue, and it works, and the food is good, and the drinks are good, and you can do all that. But it does feel like you're kind of getting to know the player who's being interviewed by Mike Maniscalco. It's, without making the word a weird one, it's like an intimate experience where you're getting to know the player, more so than just their stats and their, quick conversations after they're one of the stars of the game or, at an intermission. So check it out. It's coming up on Monday. Jalen Chatfield, who is, I know, Bussy's one of the coolest stories of this year in the NHL, and there's cool stories all over the place. Jalen Chatfield's career is one of the cooler stories on the Canes. This is not a guy that was, drafted high and always projected to be, and he had to earn and pick himself up by the bootstraps a few times, and has turned himself into a pretty foundational piece of the Carolina Hurricanes, which is pretty cool. All right, well, all that said, there is a new challenge as we transition here.
Oh, by the way, he does the player does do autographs during those events. So if you want an autograph too,
even better. You can get some behind the scenes into what the event is by going back onto our YouTube and checking out the previous Canes Corners. A whole bunch of the players have done it in the past. Brandon Bussey most recently. But you can also watch the Behind the Storm, the team produced YouTube kind of documentary behind the scenes, get to know the players videos that the team puts out. The Brandon Bussey episode, which was pretty recently, dealt a lot with his experience at Canes Corner. So you can kind of see it from every different angle. If you don't know what it is and you're thinking about stopping out on Monday at the local to check out the Jalen Chatfield edition. And last point now, if you have a question you want answered, Mike Maniscalco, a lot of times, who does the interview, the voice of the Canes, does a lot of times at the end go like, let's go to the Twitter and see what the fans want asked. And he'll ask questions directly from Twitter. So, I don't know if Mike is going to be annoyed by this, but go follow Mike on Twitter and send him the questions you want Jalen Chatfield to answer. I can't guarantee that Mike will ask them, but if it's a really good one, it's really insightful, and it's not disrespectful, he just might. There you go. Now, a new challenge faces some of the top recruiting teams in college basketball, of which we have a bunch of right here in our area. I'll tell you what that challenge is and how they might overcome it next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Every team has the ability to do it. I hope all 30 teams could learn from that.
They are spending and acquiring every star out there. And what these guys are saying is, yeah, we like it because guys should get paid. And if you want to try to put up guardrails, we're not going to go for it. We are in big time favor of what the Dodgers are doing. And if baseball tries to switch this up, they're going to have a problem.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Back in 1989, when I first went on the radio to introduce this whole no closing cost concept, where you could actually close on your mortgage without the lender taking $15,000, I had no idea if I had created the next pet rock fad of the day or something that would define my career over the course of the next 37 years. But once mortgage rates fell from 9 down to 6, our business exploded and I never looked back. You see, a no-cost loan is the only consumer-friendly mortgage where the homeowner actually holds all the cards. Short funds to close, eliminate thousands of dollars in closing costs. Rates are now down almost 2% from the peak, but you're holding off due to the cost of a refi? Not anymore. So let's start you down that path of eliminating closing costs once and for all and keep that money where it belongs, with you. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $12 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
February is Heart Health Month, and to learn more, we're joined by Dr. Ashish Patel, an electrophysiologist for Wake Med Heart and Vascular. That is quite a specialty that you have. How does that differ from being a cardiologist?
Great question. Electrophysiology, also known as EP, is a specialty within cardiology. We refocus only on heart rhythm conditions. Diagnoses that you may have heard of called AFib, SVT, and even cardiac arrest.
So you specialize in complex arrhythmias?
Really, the terminology is referred to the fact that we provide specialty procedures for these arrhythmias. And as an electrician of the heart, what we will do is sometimes perform procedures like ablation or pacemakers, defibrillators, various types of procedures to help patients.
Does it affect men or women more frequently?
The distribution of AFib is fairly equal both men and women, and it leads to a lot of problems. So we always have patients recommend that they get checked up for AFib.
To learn more, check out Wake Med Heart and Vascular at wakemed.org.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There is a ever-changing college sports world that we are dealing with, and there's a new, I don't even want to call it a problem, a new challenge, a new obstacle, a new something that you have to learn to deal with in college sports, and it's emerging in one specific case. Darryn Peterson is the projected number 1 pick in the NBA draft. He plays for Kansas. At worst, probably top 3 pick in the NBA draft, right?
He's very good.
Very good and appears like eye test. Yep, you see it, you recognize it, good. The situation, and it's one that I think is being monitored by every team that realistically recruits blue chippers. Like if you recruit 5 stars, which would include obviously the 3 teams in the triangle, Carolina, Duke, State. If you hope to have lottery NBA draft picks come through your program, you're monitoring this situation because Kansas is as blue blood as they come, right? They have a history of national championships. Bill Self their coach has trophies he can point to. Like they have all of the sway and all of the swagger of a blue blood. And they don't seem to be the one driving the train as far as decisions made for Darryn Peterson. Darryn Peterson has what appears to be either a habit of taking himself out of games, whether he's hurt or not, or he has the most uncontrollable and unpredictable cramps that anyone has had. Because there's multiple situations where this brings up, but I'll just use last night's game as an example. Kansas played Oklahoma State. Kansas number 8 in the country, Oklahoma State unranked. Darryn Peterson was on a heater. He played 18 minutes, scored 23 points in those 18 minutes, which is filling it up. Kansas went on to win the game, but then after the game, Bill Self sounded a bit more confused than usual, and we have some audio for you on kind of why Darryn Peterson didn't play more than 18 minutes.
Well, we've had it more than a couple of times. I didn't anticipate that tonight at all. I thought he was good to go. But obviously we only got 18 minutes out of him. And you know, that's disappointing because he could have had a really big but you know, one thing about it is it's happened often enough that our guys have learned to play without him, even though that's not the way we want to play. But that's certainly something that we're not unaccustomed to, you know, right now.
In case you couldn't hear it, because obviously there was some static or some background noise, I'll read part of it for you. We've had this happen more than a couple times. I thought he was good to go. We only got 18 minutes out of him. That's disappointing because he could have had a really big night. Then he went on to say, like, the nice part is this has happened enough times that our team is used to playing without him. So when our best player taps out, we go, all right, you know, hey, execute non-Darryn Peterson scheme, which we've used a bunch of times. We've been here before. This is a fascinating situation. And first of all, before you get too mean, I don't know what cards Kansas has to play. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, like, oh, Bill Self should tell him no. Listen, it's Bill Self's job to win basketball games. Okay? This is not youth where, you know, if you're not committed, you don't play. This is not Little League where everybody's got to get a certain amount of at-bats, you know, to make it allowable. This is high-leverage, big-money college basketball, and you're paid to win games. And if Darryn Peterson offers to give you 12 minutes, he's good enough that 12 minutes he's going to play. And unlike in the pros where you can trade a player or replace a player, you can't do that in college. Right? There is no like, well, we'll trade him and get someone else's star and let someone else deal with this. There is no, well, we'll go sign some big money free agent. No, there's none of that. Your roster is what your roster is. You just have to deal with it. If there was a mistake made by Kansas, it may have been not identifying this as part of Darryn Peterson's plan or as part of Peterson's personality before starting the relationship, before bringing him in, before recruiting him, or while recruiting him. So here's the question that State, Duke, Carolina are going to have to ask themselves. And I'll use a Carolina player as an example because it's very topical. How do you identify, how do you know when you are recruiting a top 5 recruit in the country, a projected top 10 NBA draft pick, if they are Caleb Wilson for UNC, who is posting workout videos nonstop and workout pictures nonstop, despite the fact that his left hand is fractured and in a brace and trying to come back, and Hubert Davis is saying if we let him play in a cast, he'd be out there? Or Darryn Peterson, who is obviously using a different equation to decide when he should be out there and when he shouldn't. How do you decide? Because we don't know if Darryn Peterson would do this in an NCAA tournament game. We don't know if he would, hey, coach, sorry, I'm out in a more of a win or go home situation, or in a big game or a closer game. We know he's done it enough times that it's not like a complete fluke. Is there a psych evaluation? Is there a question you would ask? Is there something you would ask the high school coach or the AAU coach of a recruit, trying to figure out what side of the spectrum they end on? And then would you allow that to maybe change how much rev share you offer them, or change where they are in the priorities of recruiting? Because Darryn Peterson might be, and this is no joke, he might be good enough that none of this matters. That every coach would break the bank to bring him on because he's that good, and you'll take your chances if you can convince him to play often enough for you to win. But there's also a world where maybe Kansas is looking back and going, perhaps we should have taken all the attention we paid to Darryn Peterson and all the recruiting resources and all those private jet trips out to his AAU games to watch, and maybe if we would have spent that trying to go to see A.J. DeBonsa or going to see Cam Boozer or going to see Caleb Wilson, it would have been better spent, because that is the category that those guys are in. I've said this a bunch of times in recruiting and across a bunch of different ways. I think most coaches have their priority list. And this goes for every sport, right? Like some like speed, some like size, some like winning, some like whatever, right? And not saying you don't want all of those things, but, number 1 priority, number 2 priority, all the way down. I'm not so certain that like loyalty or just love of the game might end up number 1 on a bunch of lists, and they have to find a way to evaluate it. Because obviously Caleb Wilson loves playing basketball, and he doesn't care if he goes out there with a hurt wrist or a hurt hand and thus scores 12 points rather than the 18 he would have scored with 2 healthy appendages. Right? So now his stats look a little bit worse, and maybe that hurts him in the draft. No, he just wants to go out there and play, competitor. And Darryn Peterson might be on the other side going, well, if I keep playing, you're right, my hammies a little tight. Maybe I don't have the same explosion, and maybe my 18 minutes, 23 points looks like 20 minutes with 23 points because I gave him 2. Like it's a different arithmetic. And I want to talk to some sports psychologists who can tell me if that's something you can measure or not.
I used to call it compete when I was evaluating.
Would you give a score? Would you?
Yeah, I'd rate it.
Okay. Like how? I want more insight.
I would. I mean, obviously it's just you watch, but I would generally rate it on like just like an A through F scale, or like a 1 through 5 type scale. Let's say 5 is your highest, 1's your lowest type deal. Because sometimes at these summer camps and recruiting and all these kinds of things, is that when there's nothing on the line and you're still going balls to the wall, I can see that. Are you only competing when that's convenient?
Well, my thing is, like, at all those camps, coaches are watching, and it's in your best interest to play well. Like, that's
why I would show up at their high school game and not tell them.
Okay, that's more of what I was wondering. And I don't think you can do that if you're John Shire.
No, you can't.
I don't think you can do that if you're those guys. Hubert Davis isn't sneaking into a high school gym in like a polo and just sitting down and going like, they won't know I'm here. It's a interesting conversation, but I know Bill Self is doing his best to keep a happy face, and He's having some thoughts. That's going to do it for us here on The Drive. Up next, Wolfpack Weekly with Will Wade. NC State Duke women's basketball later. USA women's hockey gold medalists. Congrats. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejection. Cameron Boozer got a piece. Get that out of there.
The deep looks from downtown.
Arsenault pull up three, top of the arc. Buries it.
They got postered.
Shot is up, missed. Hammer time. Put back jam by Lubin.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan, driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
On the Wolfpack Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Wolfpack Sports Today, your daily look inside NC State athletics. And now, here's Wolfpack Sports Today.
I'm Matt Chasnow. NC State men's hoops blasts UNC. Wolfpack Sports Today is next.
Hello, I'm Dr. Hadley Calloway from Raleigh Orthopedic Clinic. Many of my patients have shoulder pain, usually from rotator cuff tendonitis. That hurts in the shoulder, but also up to the neck and down to the elbow. It hurts to put a coat on, to tuck their shirt in, to reach behind their back. It hurts a lot at night. The treatments usually involve a cortisone shot, physical therapy, maybe some medication. If it doesn't get better, I get an MRI test, and there's an arthroscopic surgery that can get you back to normal before you know it.
Thanks, Dr. Calloway. Use the same doctors as the NC State Wolfpack. For more information,